The female protagonist, just for cursing the author a few times, was transmigrated into the very novel about a family full of villains. Here, she lived every day in a state of constant anxiety, afraid this villainous family would make mincemeat of her at any moment. To find out how the female protagonist turns this ridiculously cliched situation around, please join us in the story. On a bustling street crowded with people, a young girl named Long Dao was walking while engrossed in a novel on her phone. Reaching the climax, she suddenly frowned and grumbled in annoyance. This is infuriating. This whole villain family really does every evil deed imaginable. The more Long Dao read, the more frustrated she felt. She kept muttering nonstop. Not only is the head of the family a crazy old man who keeps targeting the male lead, but even his sons are all weirdos who also want to steal the female lead from the male lead. How infuriating. This story mainly revolves around 4 villains. At the head is the crazy old man, Long Li. Next is the scheming eldest son, Long Da. As for the second son, he could be considered the possessive type, always obsessed with the one he loves, Long Fong. The third son has a hot-tempered and tyrannical personality, Long Dat. The reason she was so dissatisfied with this villain family was that, crucially, she shared the same surname as them. But luckily, in the end, the entire villain family died. Long Dao was extremely satisfied with this couldn't-be-better ending, so she decided to leave a comment. Karma really strikes. But just as she finished typing the word strikes, she felt something was wrong. Her foot seemed to step into empty space. Countless question marks appeared above Long Dao's head. She dazedly glanced down to see what was happening. She discovered, oh my God, I've had the bad luck to fall into a hole in the middle of the road. Her terrified screams echoed everywhere. Why is there a hole here? But she could only blame herself for being too careless and focused on that villain novel to notice the construction sign. A streak of light appeared in the dark, starry sky. Her soul followed that streak of light and passed into another world. After a while, Long Dao slowly opened her eyes. She kept murmuring, am I dead? At this moment, she still didn't know she had transmigrated. She sat up in a daze, rubbing her eyes and muttering, I don't think I'm dead yet. When she saw the magnificent palace before her, she suddenly snapped to her senses in existential doubt that, hello, wait, where is this? Where did the heavens send me? The unfamiliar scene before her left her unable to recover. Feeling someone standing beside her, she unconsciously grabbed them and asked, where is this? Hearing no reply, she looked over to her side in confusion. Wait, is there someone next to me? The moment their eyes met, Long Dao's eyes widened so much they felt like they would pop out. She screamed, What struck her was an image that couldn't be any cooler, yet still exuded the aura of an emperor. The other person's sharp, cold eyes looked at her without much kindness. Under that pressurizing gaze, her body trembled slightly, but her weakness for handsome men was inescapable. Why is this person so tall? Wow, I admit he's quite handsome. Hearing a sound by her ear, she glanced over to see. The sight of the unfamiliar faces startled her. Who are these people? Before she could overcome her confusion, someone grabbed her by the collar and lifted her up like a chicken. The young man in front of her lifted her as if she were as light as a feather. Then, he spoke nonchalantly that you're saying she's my biological daughter. The more Long Dao heard, the more she doubted her existence. Her mind filled with questions. Daughter? What daughter? Long Dao felt her whole body was incredibly light. Filled with suspicion, she glanced down her body. But one look was enough to shock her. Wait, why are my hands so small? She looked at her reflection in a nearby glass pane. What met her eyes was the image of a very small girl. This truth horrified her, and she covered her mouth with her hands to keep from screaming that, oh my God, have I transmigrated? Seemingly unable to accept this reality, her eyes welled up with tears as she repeatedly turned her head back and forth, wailing, how can this be? Why is it like this, boo-hoo? A face, darker than thunderclouds, moved close to her. Her so-called tyrant father threatened, if you cry again, I'll throw you out. Long Dao was terrified, repeatedly nodding and saying yes, yes. She felt her heart beating rapidly, but she could only bite her lip and endure it. That boo-hoo, this guy is so scary. The man behind them then approached with a smile, holding something in his hand, and said, that's right, Lord Long, then. She is your genuine biological daughter. If you don't believe me, please take a look. This is a memento left by her mother. Hearing this, Long Than Dao thought curiously. My mother? What is it? A jolt went through her body, causing Long Than Dao's wide eyes to open even wider. Wait, did he say Long Than? It seems the novel I just read said the villain family surname was Long Than. Could it be? After connecting all the events, Long Than Dao was horrified to realize it. She had the misfortune of transmigrating into the book. At this moment, Long Than Dao's mind was in utter turmoil, feeling as if she was turning to stone. That man was now smiling obsequiously and making a demand. Ha, you see, I went through a lot of trouble for this trip. Shouldn't you give me a little something for my hard work? This man was an opportunist. He suddenly recalled the scene from a few days ago and praised himself. Luckily, I was at the shop across the street and overheard the good news from that house. From inside that house, a woman's voice could be heard. Mom, I will raise Dao on my own. I won't go looking for Long Than Leet. As soon as the man heard the 3 words, Long Than Leet, his eyes lit up. So when no one was looking, he took Dao and conveniently grabbed an item as proof. Wow, that woman is so stupid, not using the child to latch onto the Long Than family. Well then, let me be the good guy and reunite this father and daughter and make a hefty sum for myself in the process. Returning to the present, Long Than Leet's sharp eyes turned to the man and asked, "Oh, so what's her mother's name?" Upon hearing the question, the scheming man felt a pang of guilt, his face drenched in sweat. Crap, I was too careless. I didn't manage to hear the woman's name. His mind was in a complete panic, and because of it, he misspoke. Lord Long Than, please listen to my explanation. It's true that I stole this child and brought her here, but I heard with my own ears her mother say that this child is yours. It's true. Long Than Leet said nothing, only casting a deathly red glare that would send a chill down anyone's spine. The man's legs turned to jelly. Why is Lord Long Than getting even angrier? No, I have to run fast too. Save my life. With that thought, he employed the 36th stratagem. Running is the best policy. Flee first, talk later. He bolted, running for his life at a breakneck speed. Watching his retreating figure, Long Than Leet was filled with killing intent, spitting out a few words. The thing I hate most is being lied to. The bodyguard quickly understood and took a tool out of his coat pocket. Okay, boss, I understand. Seeing her villain father act so decisively, Long Than Dao froze, not daring to make a sound. Very quickly, the man was caught by Long Than Leet's bodyguard. From inside the castle, a tragic voice begging for mercy echoed. Lord Long Than. Lord Long Than, don't. Help, someone save me. Then a series of bang-bang sounds rang out. Soon, the atmosphere returned to its initial quiet. The butler, seemingly very used to this, had an indifferent expression. How dare he lie to Lord Long Than? This guy has some nerve. Only Long Than Dao's eyes went wide, witnessing such a bloody scene for the first time. She couldn't help but tremble, worrying about her own fate. Oh, mother, that's too cruel. Seeing the man who was just making a racket now dead as a doornail, she couldn't help but feel nauseous. Suddenly, Long Than Leet's eyes shifted to stare at her. Long Than Dao yelped, "Ah!" and then didn't dare to breathe heavily. Get lost on your own. With that, without warning, he let her go, letting her free fall from high up. A thud was heard. Long Than Dao just held her head and rolled back and forth. In less than 3 seconds, a huge bump grew on her head. The pain made Long Than Dao's tears flow in 2 streams. Down her face, boo-hoo. She looked at the bodyguard standing nearby and thought to herself, he has a gun. If I go outside, will I be beaten to death? Unwilling to die when her life had barely begun, she quickly tried to think of a way out. I have to think of a way to survive. No sooner said than done. Long Than Dao put on the most innocent face possible. With sparkling eyes, she began her acting career, looking pitiful and begging. She tugged on the tyrant father's pant leg and said softly, "Daddy, please don't send me away, okay? Dao doesn't want to leave Daddy. Dao doesn't want to be an orphan." A look of disgust appeared on Long Than Leet's face as he pulled his leg away from her small hands. "Get off, you little liar." But Dao immediately switched to her second tactic. Without a second word, she lunged forward and hugged Long Than Leet's neck tightly. "Daddy, please don't. I don't want to." The butler standing there immediately broke into a cold sweat for her. This child is done for. The master will definitely be furious. On her side, she was crying so convincingly that her nose was running. Dad, Dao's surname is also Long Than. What if what that uncle said is true? Why don't you check first? In her heart, she was cackling that I'm just trying my best to act. I don't believe you'll leave me behind. Long Than Leet suddenly gave an interested smile. He whispered coolly in her ear, What if it's true? You're the first person who's dared to make a deal with me, so I applaud your courage. If you are my daughter, I can adopt you. Long and Dao thought with some suspicion. Did the deception work? But before she could celebrate for long, her tyrant father's tone suddenly changed. But if you dare to lie to me, you're finished, kiddo. A chill colder than ice enveloped her. Warned, Long and Dao froze, saying stiffly, "Yes, father." Suddenly, a sharp pain on her head made her cry out. It turned out Long and Leet had plucked a strand of her hair for a DNA test. After he was done, he tossed her towards the butler, instructing, "Butler, take her to rest." "Yes, master." This father's erratic mood made her feel like she was living on hot coals, her small heart constantly wounded by fear that, boo-hoo, what kind of person is he? Seriously, I want to go home. After the butler arranged a room for her, Long and Dao lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling and starting to ponder, oh, now I've traveled back several decades in the novel, but I don't remember the villain Long than Leet having a daughter. At this thought, she panicked. I'm doomed. Then I'm definitely not his real daughter. No, I have to escape before he finds out. Long and Dao sat up abruptly, then used her tiny legs to painstakingly climb down from the bed. After a struggle, she finally made it to the floor. Reaching the doorway, her shifty eyes darted from side to side. Seeing no one, she secretly breathed a sigh of relief that it's safe here. Time to start the escape plan. But this castle was like a maze with no exit. She walked for a long time without finding the gate. Her whole body was trembling, and she had to lean against the wall to keep walking, constantly whining, "Save me, this house is too big. I'm going to die of exhaustion." After walking for a while, her face was covered in sweat. Long and Dao wiped her face with her hand. Just then, she noticed that there were quite a few pictures on the nearby wall. Without hesitation, she quickly walked over to where the pictures were hanging. Besides images of Long and Leet, above them were pictures of the 3 other villainous sons. Looking at the faces of the villains she had read about in the story, Long and Dao had a bad feeling. There isn't just one scary person in this house. This place is not safe to stay in for long. Just then, she noticed a door not far away. Is that the exit over there? She very carefully approached it to observe. There are no guards in black clothes at the door. It's probably safe. My chance has come, so I can still live. Thinking this, she was overjoyed, humming and skipping as she ran. But before she could take a few steps, a hand grabbed her, followed by a somewhat childish voice, "Stop." Long and Dao's whole body was dragged back like a chick, her heart on high alert. Who is it? Her small body was immediately thrown without a shred of mercy, causing her to tumble with her legs in the air. Ouch, that hurts. What met her eyes was a boy with platinum blonde hair. The boy pointed at her and questioned coldly, "Who are you?" Seeing her say nothing, the boy's eyes lost their patience as he asked again, "Who are you?" Long and Dao's mind suddenly recalled the picture hanging on the wall earlier. She was startled to recognize the person in front of her. He's the 3rd son of the Long family. Long and Dot. Being ignored, Long and Dat got angry, bent down, and yelled, "Speak. Are you mute?" Her mind was a tangled mess, and she was internally tearing her hair out in panic. Save me. Brain, please work. Just come up with any excuse. In this dire moment, the butler suddenly appeared and scooped her up under his arm. "Young miss, why did you run here?" At this moment, Long and Dao felt like she had grasped a life-saving straw. Her eyes, sparkling brighter than stars, smiled with great emotion. "Uncle Butler, my dear savior." Uncle Butler, you came at just the right time. In contrast, Long and Dao was somewhat displeased and continued to question, "Butler, who is she?" The butler, while holding her, calmly explained, "Young master, earlier someone brought this child here, saying she is the master's daughter. We are now waiting for the test results. It's getting late, so I'll take the young miss back first. Young master, you should also rest early." With that, the butler carried her away, leaving Long and Dat to watch their retreating backs with a belly full of doubt. It took a full 5 minutes for the boy to process the news before he shouted, "Dad's daughter." The butler brought her back to her previous room and gently tucked her in. "Good night, young miss. Sweet dreams." Long and Dao also replied politely, "Thank you, Uncle Butler." Looking at her obediently sleeping form, countless hearts appeared around the butler, and he couldn't stop sighing in admiration. The young miss is so adorable. As soon as the room door closed, Long and Dao, who was supposedly fast asleep, suddenly opened her eyes. She decisively threw off the blanket, her body brimming with energy. Then, she closed her eyes and bolted for round 2 of her escape. "I don't want to stay here and become one of them. Goodbye, villain family. I'm out of here." At night, in the castle grounds, Long Than Dao's panting and soft whimpers could be heard at "I'm so tired." Just how big is this place? In a moment of carelessness, she accidentally tripped on a rock at her feet, and her small body fell flat on the ground. Long Than Dao forced her aching body to sit up. Looking at the statue in front of her, her will to escape had dwindled. This courtyard was so vast that it made her realize a very harsh truth. This is simply impossible to escape from. Her face was smudged with dirt, her eyes welling with tears, as she pouted and blew on her scraped knee. Boo-hoo, why is my fate so miserable? Long Than Dao felt sorry for herself as she remembered her past life. Back in a modern world, I had no parents and was an office worker who had to work overtime every day. The more she thought, the more her tears rolled down as she lamented her tragic fate. Why is my life still so hard even after transmigrating? Other people transmigrate and become princesses pampered by everyone. Why did I end up in a villain's house, about to be eliminated before I could even enjoy anything? No. She quickly wiped away her tears. Then she stood up, filled with a new burst of determination. With my current small body, I definitely can't run out of here. Besides, I might starve to death outside. Then she secretly came up with a plan. How about I coax the villain dad to save up a small stash of money, and when the time is right, I'll leave this place immediately. Long Than Dao felt this was the best plan and silently clenched her fist, determined to see it through. The next morning, the dawn light illuminated the entire magnificent castle. Early in the morning, Long Than Dao was already in the kitchen. She wore a small apron, looking extremely cute and lovely. Her skilled hands worked non-stop, and she hummed a gentle tune. Speaking of coaxing, I'll conquer their stomachs with delicious food. Not a brag, but I'm very good at cooking. In my past life, because I lived alone, I learned a little of every dish, which made me very experienced in the kitchen. She looked at the utensils placed up high and stroked her chin thoughtfully. But it's a bit difficult to cook with this small body. Even so, Long Than Dao didn't give up. She found some small stools and stacked them up. After a lot of effort, she was finally level with the countertop. In front of her were countless fresh ingredients, which made even Long Than Dao exclaim in admiration, "Wow, they have everything here." After some deliberation, she decided to show off her skills by making a multi-layered sandwich today. Her hands were incredibly professional, flipping eggs, then toasting bread, and finally drizzling sauce on top. Very quickly, a sandwich was completed in 10 minutes. Long Than Dao even added a few finishing touches to make the sandwich look more appealing. Looking at her creation, she cheered with satisfaction. "Tada, success." Suddenly, her father's cold voice came from behind her. "What are you doing?" Long Than Leet and Long Than Dad appeared at the doorway. The young boy even grumbled in annoyance. So noisy. Her face lit up as she held the plate of sandwiches and excitedly showed it off. "I made breakfast for everyone. Come and eat." Looking at Long Than Dat's grumpy face, her heart sank. But why do I feel like the little villain is such a nuisance? Long Than Leet walked closer, looked at the plate of sandwiches, and asked in a disbelieving tone, "You made this?" Dao nodded eagerly. Yes, it was me. "I hope you like it, Dad." On the other side, Long Than Dat was unhappy, tooting a few times and criticizing, "What, isn't it just a sandwich? It's not like I've never had one before." But contrary to the boy's expectations, his father actually used a fork to take a piece and try it. Witnessing this, Long Than Dat called out in disbelief, "Dad." As for Long Than Leet, after eating, his expression softened and he nodded in praise. Not bad. This rare praise from his father felt like a lightning strike to the young boy. What? While you're sad, someone else will be happy. Dao was overjoyed to be praised and cheered. "Great, it's delicious." At this moment, she was incredibly proud of the masterpiece she had created. "Of course it's delicious. I put a lot of my exclusive secret recipes in there." Witnessing this scene, Long Than Dat felt extremely annoyed. "Dad, are you praising her?" His whole body immediately trembled with anger, and he gritted his teeth, thinking, "No, I absolutely cannot let her take Dad away from me." The group of three quickly returned to the dining table. Long Than Dat looked at the plate of sandwiches in front of him and kept swallowing saliva at its aroma, but he resolutely refused to touch his fork. Dao looked at the boy opposite her who was having an internal struggle and felt like a crow was flying overhead. "Oh, still sulking, are we?" In order to win over all the characters in this villain family, Dao had no choice but to turn on her acting mode. With an expectant look in her eyes, she said in a sweet voice, "You should eat. It's really delicious." Long Than Dat, taking the opportunity opportunity to play hard to get, crossed his arms, tilted his head up, and refused. Humph, I'm not eating. How good can it be? Suddenly, her father's sharp gaze shot over, making the boy shiver. Long and Dat felt extremely wronged. He had to cut a piece of the sandwich unwillingly, pouting, "Why does Dad keep looking at her? Finally, I want to see just how good it can be." As he spoke, he put a piece of the sandwich in his mouth to taste it. As soon as the sandwich entered his mouth, an incredibly amazing sensation appeared before his eyes. Long and Dad immediately praised the unique deliciousness of this sandwich. "Wow, this is truly a delicacy from heaven." Seeing this reaction, Long and Down knew she had won. She rested her chin on her hand and asked, "How is it, brother? Is it good?" The fork was suddenly thrown onto the table with a clatter, startling Dao Dao. Long and Dat's expression reverted to its previous state. He immediately switched back to his grumpy mode and grumbled, "Ugh, it's disgusting." On the other side, her father also let out a cold humph of annoyance and put his fork down. This cold humph scared the two little sprouts into silence. Long and Leet said in a stern voice, "Then Dad, who taught you to throw things around like that?" The boy was so scared he couldn't help but hiccup, hick hick. Dao Dao on this side couldn't help but sympathize with him. "Tisk, tisk, that's a bit too much. The villain father is too harsh with his son. No wonder everyone in this family ends up as a villain." In order to salvage the tense atmosphere, Dao Dao didn't hold a grudge and said with a smile, "So what do you like to eat? If I have a chance, I'll make it for you." Before Long and Dad could answer, his father spoke first. "Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You want to butter us up, so we'll let you stay, right?" As he spoke, his father walked towards her. Enveloped by a shadow, Dao Dao felt guilty and tried to cover it up. "That's not it, Dad. I just like to cook." Long and Leet stared at her as if trying to see through her, his voice turning colder. "The test results will be out soon. By then, if you've lied to me, you know what the consequences will be, right?" Threatened, Dao Dao's whole body was covered in sweat. She tried hard to keep her voice from trembling. I know, Dad." But in her heart, she was constantly complaining. "If it weren't for that guy in black with a gun at the door earlier that made me too scared to run, I would have been long gone. It seems it's even harder to leave now than before." On the other side, Long and Dad, not hearing the content of the conversation clearly, misunderstood. From his perspective, it was a scene of the famously cold tyrant father looking at his newfound daughter with a gentle gaze, making him feel a mix of jealousy and unwillingness. Dad is actually smiling and talking to her. On the other side, Dao really wanted to curse out loud. Is there something wrong with this guy's eyes? The anger made his whole body tremble. So annoying. Dad has never talked to me for this long. On what basis does she get Dad's attention? Unwilling to accept it, he quickly spoke up to draw his father's attention to himself. "Dad, tomorrow the school is having a sports festival. I'm participating in 3 events. Can you come and watch me compete?" Long and Leet's voice was somewhat impatient. "I'm very busy." Dao Dao felt annoyed and grumbled to herself. "What a load of bull. It's all just excuses. Even if you're busy, can't you spare one day?" Suddenly, a new idea popped in her head. "Wait, if I can get the villain Dad to take me to school, isn't that a great opportunity to escape?" So she quickly devised a plan to regain her freedom. Full of energy, she grabbed her father's pant leg and pulled. "Dad, Dao Dao wants to go to Third Brother's sports festival to watch. Can you take me?" Long and Leet surprisingly turned back and asked, "What do you want to go for?" Dao Dao looked aggrieved and pitifully replied, "Dao Dao has never been to a sports festival before." Pausing for a moment, she looked towards her third brother and continued with a smile. "Besides, Dao Dao also wants to go and cheer for my brother." Long and Dad never expected to hear these words and was momentarily stunned. What cheer for me? He suddenly thought about his time at school before. Since his eldest and second brothers didn't go to the same school, and his father had never come to watch him compete, no one had ever cheered for him. Seeing and hearing others being cheered for made him extremely envious. Go, go. The other kids all have their parents cheering for them, but me? Despite that, he still tried to save face and refused. "I don't need you to cheer for me. I'm already very good." Dao Dao, seeing how difficult her third brother was, wanted to fly up and give him a thunderous punch right in the face, but she held it in. This is so frustrating. Why is this kid so stubborn? Her father, hearing the conversation between the two children, hadn't smirked like this in a long time. How interesting. So her father quickly agreed to her request. "All right, I can take you. Coincidentally, I have something to do there as well. Dao suppressed the urge to jump up and down. Oh, really? Thank you, Dad. Her heart was happier than if she had won the lottery. This is great. Oh yeah, the first step of the plan is a success. The next person to be happy was arguably Long than Dad. The boy's face was radiant as he asked again, Dad, you want to come see me compete? That's great. But he quickly stopped himself. Wait, it seems Dad is only going because of her. Annoying. Long than Dad's whole body was filled with determination as he thought, I must get first place in this competition. Then Dad will definitely pay attention to me and be cold to her. The next day was the day of the sports festival. Being let outside, Dao was extremely excited and cheered, finally left the Longden house. Just as she was about to slip away, a cold hand grabbed the small backpack on her shoulder without any wasted motion, pulling her back. Dao was completely bewildered, not understanding what was happening. Then she was held in her father's arms, accompanied by a warning, it's crowded, so you be good and stay here. Don't get lost. She forced a fake smile. Yes, thank you, Dad, haha. Internally, she was crying and screaming, boo-hoo, I want to get lost. But how can I get lost when I'm being carried like this? Meanwhile, Long than Dad, seeing her being pampered by their father, threw a dissatisfied look her way. Today, I will definitely shine. Just you wait and see. Before the competition, all contestants were given a number. At this moment, Long than Dad was trying his best to stick the number on his back. But no matter how he tried, he couldn't stick it on. Boo-hoo, I can't reach it. What should I do? Nearby, the conversation of another father and son caught his attention. Here, let Dad help you. Yes, thank you, Dad. The crisp laughter of the boy next to him made Long than Dad's face darken. Other people's dads are so nice. In the stands, Dao keenly noticed the problem that this guy can't stick his own number. She glanced at her tyrant father and saw his elegant, disdainful posture, which was incredibly jarring. She couldn't help but mumble, these two, one is mute and the other is blind. Truly, two dense guys together can't get anything done. But then she grinned mischievously to, isn't this my chance? I have to make a move. Dao then shouted towards the field below, third brother, come over here. Dao will help you stick on your number. Come here. Long than Dad approached with suspicion and handed her the competition number. What the devil does she want to do? Dao happily took it, but before it was in her hand, she pretended she couldn't reach and cried out, oh, Dao can't reach it. I can't stick it on. A look of annoyance appeared on Long than Dad's face. Hey, what is she doing? To his surprise, Dao then turned towards her father and waved, asking for help. Daddy, can you come help brother stick it on? Daddy, come here. This unexpected action of hers made the boy unable to believe his eyes. She actually asked Dad to help me. He was full of anticipation, carefully handing over the competition number. Dad, can you help me stick on the number? Her father looked coldly at his son's trembling hand holding the competition number. After a moment of silence, he spoke 3 short words. Turn around. This small gesture made Long than Dad so emotional that he shed tears. This is great. Dad put the name tag on for me. His goodwill towards Dao also improved a little. Maybe she's not that bad after all. As for Dao standing behind, her heart was also racing. Great, now's the time. Time to bolt, But just as she was about to run, an ice-cold voice cut her plan short. Where do you think you're going? Dao could only reassure herself, then made a series of movements like raising her arms, turning left, turning right, hey, while constantly making up a story. I'm just warming up to cheer for third brother later. Under her father's scrutinizing gaze, she couldn't stop and could only continue her act. Phew, so tiring. So annoying, I was just about to run and got caught. Her father smiled cryptically and said, I thought you were trying to run away. Dao, having been hit where it hurts, felt her heart drop. She put on an adorable, innocent act to change the subject. Of course not, Dad. Why would Dao run away? But Dad, I'm tired and thirsty from exercising. Can you give me some money to buy a drink? In her heart, she thought, asking for a little money will be useful for her. Emergencies. Long and Leet seemed to have seen through her thoughts. He chuckled. How interesting. You want something to drink? Being cornered like this, Dao silently cursed him with a middle finger in mind that he asks about everything. Adults really have no tact at all. Dao Dao pretended to drool as she stated her wish. Dao Dao wants a sweet strawberry cheese mochi milk with cream foam on top. Her father said nothing and just snapped his fingers. Butler. As soon as he finished speaking, the butler brought the drink she had just requested as fast as the wind, making Dao Dao's eyes almost pop out of their sockets. Young miss, here you are. Wait, didn't the butler not come with us? Where did he teleport from? With that thought, she faked a smile and changed her order to, oh, Dao Dao finds this a bit too rich. If there's calamansi or passion fruit juice. Before she could finish her sentence, a huge glass of calamansi mixed with passion fruit juice appeared. Please, young Mississippi. Dao Dao stared blankly, her mouth involuntarily uttering 2 words. Damn it. So annoying. I don't believe he has everything. Then she rattled off a list of things she wanted. I want chocolate banana milk, fleshy crystal grapes, golden lotus oolong tea, and fresh Muzang King durian juice. In less than 3 seconds, the butler brought out 2 trays full of drinks according to her request. Young miss, please take a look. Everything is here. Dao Dao opened her eyes and immediately choked on her words. That's amazing. Her father, sitting next to her, then spoke up that, so, is that enough to drink? Dao Dao still refused to give up and said, actually, Dao Dao isn't thirsty anymore. If it were sweets, maybe. It was truly a case of ask and you shall receive. Before she could finish her sentence, a pile of cakes appeared as if to crush her idea of escaping. The butler's voice rang out. Which flavor does the young miss prefer? I didn't know your preference, so the master told me to just prepare a little of everything. Although Dao Dao was tired, she was determined not to give up. Maybe Dad doesn't know that fruit is actually my favorite thing. As soon as she said this, she heard the loud horn of a vehicle. Reversing, please be careful. A truck filled with fresh fruit quickly appeared before Dao Dao. Young miss, please take a look. You can choose any fruit you like from here. Dao Dao's head was spinning, feeling as if the sky was about to fall. She clutched her small heart, panting, oh my God, escaping is so hard. I think I'm going to die. I'm going to die from frustration. Right after the school's announcement speaker blared, the first heat of the match has officially begun. Enough fooling around. Watch the match. As he spoke, her father picked her up and placed her on his lap. Dao Dao, dazed, responded like a robot, yes. Long then Dad observed everything she did, not missing a single detail. Not understanding the situation, the boy developed a misunderstanding of her. Annoyance showed in his eyes. Her attitude just now was all a smokescreen. She wants to steal my dad. Well then, just you wait and see. The first competition was archery. Long then Dad was fired up, thinking I have to win all the competitions today. I have to make Dad's eyes be drawn to me. In Dad's eyes, there can only be me. Very quickly, he moved on to the third competition, the high jump. With his competitive spirit, he finally won 3 gold medals, 2 of which were for first place. Long then Dad was extremely satisfied, thinking Dad will definitely be looking at me. With that thought, he held up the gold medals and boasted towards the stands. I was the champion in 2 out of 3 competitions. Dad, see how amazing I am. From the stands, a soft was heard, like an affirmation from Long then Lee. Being acknowledged by his father for the first time, Long then Dad felt there was nothing happier than this moment. This is great. Thank you, Dad. Dad praised me. But right after, his father's face turned serious, splashing a bucket of cold water on his own, a son of the Long then family. You should have won 3 championships. The joy immediately vanished. Long then Dad's mood instantly deflated. Yes, I know. Dao Dao, watching this scene, felt very sympathetic. What a poor child. She picked her nose and grumbled. Third brother just wants a compliment from his villain father. And a villain father still had to be a buzzkill. He really doesn't know how to raise child. As expected, I can't stay in this house any longer. The urge to leave resurfaced in her. She clutched her stomach and made an excuse. Oh, Dad, I drank too much milk tea earlier and now my stomach hurts. I need to go to the bathroom. All right, I'll take you. Hearing that, Dao Dao cleverly refused. No, it's stinky in there. Dao Dao can go by herself. How ridiculous. If you come with me, how am I supposed to run away? But her father gave her no chance to refuse and decisively picked her up and headed to the restroom. Dao Dao struggled in vain. Dad, I can do it myself. Driven by jealousy, Long then Dad suddenly had a bad thought that on what basis can she easily capture Dad's attention without doing anything or making any effort? If she just disappears, Will Dad only care about me? That thought kept urging him on. That's right. It would be good if she just disappeared. As she was coming out of the restroom, someone ran up to flatter her father. Lord Long, then, the principal invites you to join the school's board meeting. I hope you can grace us with your presence. Dao Dao was once again overjoyed. The wise savior has appeared. I've finally waited for this day. Luckily, I didn't give up. My chance has finally come, but her father decisively refused in Onid. Dao Dao's heart raced. Huh, what? No. She looked at her father, her voice as sweet as sugarcane. Please go, Dad. The principal specially invited you. It must be something very urgent. Having someone interfere with his decision, Long then Leet immediately became annoyed. What? Although Dao Dao was scared, she stubbornly continued. A man building his career is the coolest thing. As she spoke, she turned to the other man, seeking an ally. Don't you agree, sir? The man gave a thumbs up in praise. The young miss is absolutely right. At this moment, Long the Dat came over and proactively offered his hand. Dad, I can take care of my sister. You can go without worry. Seeing someone come to support her, Dao Dao wanted to cry a river. She didn't hesitate to give a thumbs up in praise. Good job. Good kid. I'll give you a like. She took this opportunity to immediately jump down and hug Long the Dat's neck, saying sweetly, Brother, carry me. Long the Leet was also somewhat swayed. He sat down and instructed, then don't run too far. I'll come find you too after the meeting is over. Long the Dat replied with difficulty, Yes, Dad. In his heart, he was constantly cursing. Why does she look so small, but feel so heavy to carry? To reassure their father, the two of them put on bright smiles. Don't worry, Dad. I like my sister the most. Dao Dao also chimed in, Yes, I like my brother lots and lots too. When their father's back was far away, Long the Dat, without a second word, turned hostile and threw her down. Get down. Dao Dao wasn't too surprised. So annoying. I knew it. What a rotten little brat. She put on a pitiful, aggrieved look, her eyes welling with tears as she turned her head and called out, Third brother, boo-hoo. Suddenly, Long the Dat grabbed her arm, then gave a bright smile and suggested, Come on, I'll take you to find a restroom. Dao Dao recognized this clumsy acting at a glance. She chuckled to herself. This little villain is about to write his malicious intent all over his face. TSK. This acting skill still needs more practice, but it's just what I wanted. So she said nothing and obediently followed her third brother. He stopped in front of a rather old-looking room. Long the Dat forcefully pushed her inside. Here we are. Didn't Dao want to go to the restroom? Go on. The restroom is in there. Seeing the unfamiliar place, Dao pretended to hesitate. But brother, I'm scared. Long the Dat continued to lure her. Don't worry. I'll wait for you outside. I won't go anywhere. Then you must wait for me outside the door. Absolutely don't leave me. Doing something bad for the first time made Long the Dat feel a bit guilty, but he immediately gritted his teeth and made a decision. All right, hurry up and go. The sound of the door closing echoed, leaving her alone in the room. Dao went to the door and pressed her ear against it to listen for sounds outside. He's probably far away by now. She suddenly sighed like a little old lady as expected, a child's thoughts are so easy to guess. Does he think locking the door can trap me? Did you forget there's a window in this room? With that, she went to the window, wanted to climb up, but with her small body, it took her a long time to even get a grip. At this moment, she was very smug and laughed. I can't believe I can even escape by jumping through a window, haha. But right after that, she was taken aback because no matter how hard she tried, the window wouldn't budge. Her mood plummeted from the heavens to the earth. Dao was stunned by the reality before her. It won't open. I'm doomed. It won't open. She couldn't stop blaming herself for her overconfidence, that I was too careless. I can't believe I was still played by that little devil. A cold feeling washed over her, making her shiver as she looked around the room. I didn't notice it before, but why does this place feel so dark now? Inside the room, only the light from the windows seeped in. The rest was pitch black. This situation made her uncontrollably tremble as she remembered a memory from her past life. Back then, she was also locked in a similar dark space by a group of classmates. Even though she screamed until her voice was hoarse, those friends still wouldn't let her go. Let me out. Outside the door, someone asked worriedly, Is it okay to do this? But another person retorted, Who told her to mess with me when I was in a bad mood? Don't worry, she has no parents. No one will come looking for trouble with us, haha. At that time, she was terrified, huddled in a dark corner, constantly begging, Let me out. Those memories flooded back, causing Dao to curl up, tremble, and cry, comforting herself. It's okay. It's all in the past. It's not scary at all. Suddenly, a strange noise nearby made her freeze. What was that sound? In the pitch-black space before her, Dao Dao could only see two small, yellow specks of light nearby. Feeling something getting closer and closer to her, she was too scared to react. What is that? A while later, the principal obsequiously saw Long then lead out. Thank you, Lord Long then, for supporting our school. Let me lead you to the podium. I'd also like to invite you to present the awards to our young athletes today. This way, Lord Long then. At this time, Long then Dat, who had been waiting, saw his father appear and ran over with a panicked expression to report, Dad, it's bad. My sister ran away. In contrast, his father just stared coldly at his son. Oh, really? Long then Dat, being criticized for not having a good education. Long then Dat suddenly raised his head to retort, impossible. How could that be? I even checked the dictionary. But as soon as he said it, he was startled, realizing he had misspoken. Crap, I'm doomed. The principal on the side also understood the situation and just shrugged and sighed, thinking, Lord Long then understands his son too well, and this child, Long then Dat, is the most competitive. His father's voice suddenly became colder than ever. Where is she? Long then Dat, terrified, was about to make an excuse. But his father saw through him and cut him off. If you lie, you know the consequences. Back to Dao Dao's location, she was now slowly moving towards the back wall. Luckily, there's a broom here I can use. A squeaking sound was heard, followed by a massive rat leaping towards her. Dao Dao quickly grabbed the broom, tears streaming down her face as she screamed, Don't come over here. Then she didn't dare to look directly at the rats, but instinctively swung the broom wildly everywhere. Just then, light from the door shone in from behind her, making her stop her movements. The door is open. What met her eyes was the image of her tyrant father standing at the newly opened door. A sense of grievance suddenly appeared. She couldn't help but cry out, Daddy. The squeaking of a nearby rat was heard again, making her scream in fear, but with just one authoritative glare from Long then Leet. That rat felt immense pressure. It was as if it wanted to say, I'm just a pitiful creature. Then the rat scurried away and disappeared. Dao watched in awe. That's really amazing. I can't believe my villain dad can even scare away a rat. Long then Leet beckoned with his thumb and said concisely, Come here. She brought all her grievances and rushed to hug the tyrant father's thigh. Boo-hoo-hoo-ah. Seeing her cry so heartbreakingly, her father was also a little moved and looked down. Dao continued to cry. You finally came, Dad. Long then Leet's heart was still wavering. He proactively knelt down and stroked her head, comforting her in a gentle voice. All right, don't cry anymore. Feeling that her tyrant father was now her lifeline, she didn't think twice and hugged his neck tightly, not wanting to let go. Her mouth continued to sob, Daddy, oh Daddy. Long then Leet's heart seemed to have been conquered by this yet-to-be-identified daughter. He unconsciously patted her back gently. Long then Dad at this time carefully and cautiously said, Dad, I was wrong. His father glared at him in annoyance. You should be apologizing to her. Although unwilling, Long then Dat could only say loudly, I'm sorry. Long then Leet looked at Dao Dao, gently stroking her head and said, You have the right not to forgive him. He should be punished. On this side, Long then Dat heard this and cried and feared, She's definitely going to kick me when I'm down. She'll probably tell Dad to punish me. You evil thing. Both you and Dad are evil. Dao Dao then wiped away the remaining tears on her face. Then she slid down and stood opposite her third brother with the fiery demeanor of a judge about to deliver a verdict. Dao Dao was fuming. She stomped quickly towards Long then Dat. Her aura made even the stubborn Long then Dat flinch. What is she going to do? The boy's heart was somewhat worried, thinking, I wonder how she wants Dad to punish me. While the boy was at the peak of his tension, Dao Dao suddenly did a 180, changing her expression faster than flipping a book. She approached and took Long then Dat's hand, her big, sparkling eyes looking at him as she asked in a sweet voice, Brother, you definitely didn't do it on purpose, right? This expression of hers left Long then Dat completely stunned, with countless question marks appearing above his head. Dao Dao stood opposite him and generously continued, Dao Dao is fine now. Dao Dao forgives you, brother. A look of shame suddenly appeared on Long then Dat's face. Did she really just say she forgives me? After collecting himself, the boy screamed internally, Who needs her forgiveness? Dao Dao didn't stop there. She pressed her advantage, attacking with a psychological blow. I'm sure you'll never treat Dao Dao like that again, right? Seeing Long Than Dat say nothing, she asked repeatedly with expectant eyes. Right? Under Dao Dao's stare, coupled with her adorable expression, then Dat's heart was moved as if he had been hypnotized, and he unconsciously agreed. It won't happen again. After conquering her third brother, Dao Dao happily rushed to hug Than Dat. Wow, third brother is so kind. Dao Dao likes third brother lots and lots. Being praised so much by Dao Dao, Than Dat felt a bit guilty and shy. His gaze was somewhat evasive. I'm not that nice, haha. At this moment, Dao Dao was celebrating internally to, hey, as expected, studying child psychology wasn't a waste of time. He's just a kid, after all. Solved in a minute. She was completely unaware that her thoughts had been seen through by her tyrant father. The smile in Long Than Leet's eyes as he looked at Dao Dao deepened. This child is truly not simple. Dao Dao, still oblivious, started to act cute within Dat. Brother, hugged Dao Dao. The break ended, and the MC's voice echoed everywhere. The 100-meter dash final is about to begin. Please get ready. From the stands, Dao Dao shouted toward the competition field below, cheering for Long Than Dat. Go, brother. Go, brother. You'll definitely win first place. Her cheering was so loud that it drew the attention of many people. This also made Long Than Dat's face flush with embarrassment. The boy, somewhat annoyed, covered his ears and turned back, saying resentfully, I know. Don't shout so loud. It's so embarrassing. Although Than Dat said that, when he turned his head away, he broke into a delighted smile. That girl, really? Then Dat and the other runners quickly got into position. Suddenly, the boy next to him gave Than Dat an unfriendly look. As soon as the referee shouted go, Than Dat took off with great enthusiasm. I must win first place. In his ear, he could still hear Dao Dao's cheers. Go, brother. You're the best. In the stands, Dao Dao was passionately shouting at the top of her lungs to support Than Dat. Meanwhile, her tyrant father's face remained as cold as ever, showing little emotion. Than Dat looked towards the little girl with confidence. Just you wait. But in the next second, he carelessly tripped over his own feet. After stumbling for a moment, Than Dat fell flat on his face on the track. Dao Dao, who was watching, couldn't hide her worried brother. Even her usually cold father instinctively frowned when he saw his son in trouble. Then Dat lay there in pain, watching his opponents pass him one by one, and his heart burned with anxiety. It hurts so much. At this point, then Dat had been left behind by the group of runners. I've fallen behind. Just as he was about to give up, he heard Dao Dao's worried call in his ear. Brother. Long Than Dat looked up, forcing his aching body to stand. He encouraged himself. Get up, Long Than Dat. Dad and that little brat are watching. Ahead, the fellow contestant suddenly turned back and gave Than Dat a thumbs down with a mocking look. First place is mine. Then Dat gritted his teeth and tried to drag his aching body forward. I want to win first place. But just as he was about to reach the finish line, someone else was faster and snatched it first. Then Dat stood there with a dazed look in his eyes. At this moment, his eyes were welling up with tears. Dao Dao and her father also came down towards him. That same runner didn't want to miss this opportunity, coming over to taunt him. Oh, you're the one who came in last. Your dad probably doesn't like you, you loser. Dao Dao, who had just arrived, heard these words. She gritted her teeth in anger and cursed silently. You little brat. Just as Than Dat was about to retort to the mean kid, Dao Dao was one step faster and rushed forward to stand in front of him. She pointed at the other kid and scolded him fiercely that why brother was injured, but he still insisted on finishing the race. If it were you, could you have done that? No matter the result, in my heart, he is number one. Dao Dao then exposed the other kid on the spot. You were the one who played tricks to make someone else trip. You're a bad person and don't deserve first place. Having been called out, the kid became angry from embarrassment and wanted to get physical with Dao Dao. You shut your mouth. Just as the kid's arm was about to touch Dao Dao, then Dat reacted. He hugged the little girl tightly to protect her. With his other hand, he grabbed the kid's hand tightly, his eyes cold as he said, just try and hit my sister. The kid, knowing he couldn't beat Than Dat, left in anger, not forgetting to give them both the middle finger and say, I'm done with you guys. After the matter was settled, Long Than Leet walked over, squatted down to look at the wound on his son's knee, and asked, how's the injury? Then Jayat said in a sad voice, it's nothing, Dad. I'm sorry I couldn't get first place. Just when Njayat thought his dad would scold him, his father just gently stroked his head and encouraged him. You did very well. Then Njayat was choked with emotion, unable to speak that, that's right. I saw everything. Dao Dao also chimed in with a smile at this moment. Brother, you finished the whole race even though you were injured and didn't give up. Dao Dao is very proud of you. Brother, you're amazing. Hearing these words of encouragement, then Njayat burst into tears. Don't say any more. Then, like a child, he threw himself into his father's arms without a care for his fear. Boo-hoo, Daddy. The father and his children arrived home at dusk. Welcome back, sir. Inside the car, a very warm scene unfolded before the butler's eyes. Then Njayat and Dao Dao were sound asleep, carefree, leaning against their father. Seeing this, the butler quickly covered his mouth that, oh my, have a young master and young miss fallen asleep? I will arrange for them to be taken care of. However, Long Then Leet spoke up and refused. No need. His next action immediately caused the group of servants to stare in shock with wide eyes that, oh my God, this sight. Let me. With that, he held Dao Dao in one arm and slung the Njayat over his other shoulder as he walked into the villa. The butler's heart fluttered as he watched this scene. Wow, this is the first time I've seen the master be so gentle with children. Could it be that the master has been moved? Long Then Leet carefully placed the two children on the bed. Seeing their comfortable, sleeping expressions, he couldn't help but let out a small smile. These kids are much cuter when they're asleep. Long Then Njayat, who was pretending to be asleep, heard this compliment and his heart felt like it was about to cry. The boy felt as if volcanoes were erupting everywhere. Oh my God, Daddy thinks I'm cute. At this moment, Dao Dao, next to him, was just like the Njayat, both pretending to be asleep without planning it. In her heart, she grimaced and clicked her tongue, constantly wondering, am I not cute normally? Long Then Leet walked over and gently pulled the blanket over both of them. The image of his son rushing to hug him suddenly appeared in his mind. For some reason, his long-held cold image was shattered at that moment. He gently stroked his son's head and encouraged him. All right, you're a boy. You have to be strong. Looking at his hand, Long Then Leet marveled to himself. This is the first time he has hugged me like this since he was born. I usually neglect the boy because I'm too busy with work. So this is what it feels like to be relied on by him. After pondering for a while, he made a decision that it seems he took a bad fall today. When I have time, I should take him to wrestling practice. He'll probably have more experience for next time. Being cared for by his father for the first time, then Njayat was moved to tears. Oh my goodness. Daddy is planning to take me out to play. This is wonderful. Long live Daddy. Lying next to him, Dao Dao sensed her brother's excitement and thought with a weary face, is the problem really because he fell? TSK. As expected, a clueless straight guy is still better. Just as the atmosphere was getting warm, the butler peeked his head in and whispered, Master Long then, the meeting. Before the butler could finish his sentence, he put a finger to his lips, signaling for silence. Shoo! Only when the lights were off and no more voices could be heard did Dao Dao let out a sigh of relief and flip the blanket to sit up. Phew, he's finally gone. I almost couldn't hold it in any longer. Without a second word, she jumped off the bed very lightly. Seeing no reaction from the person on the bed, she turned her head and called out softly, Third brother. Suddenly, Dao Dao felt a mischievous urge and walked back to the bed. Is third brother really asleep? On the bed. Then Njayat, afraid his act would be exposed, didn't dare to move. Dao suddenly spoke. All right, third brother cried a lot and must be tired, so he's probably asleep, right? But there's nothing wrong with crying. That way, we can know how third brother is feeling. Her every word moved then Njayat, and his arm trembled slightly, but his heart remained stubborn as he cursed. This little brat is too nosy. Dao Dao knew the boy was just shy, so she didn't expose him. She went over and gently stroked his head. Third brother was so cool at the sports festival today. Well, I'll be going now. Sleep well and have sweet dreams. Third brother. After speaking, she turned around and happily returned to her room. Time to go to sleep. Only when Dao Dao's footsteps faded away did Long Then Njayat open his eyes. Dao Dao's words still echoed in his ears, making the boy feel as if a light was shining on him. The next morning, Dao Dao was busy again in the kitchen. The crisis has been resolved. What should I cook for breakfast today? A faint sound by her ear put Dao Dao on alert. Wait, I think someone is watching me from behind. Dao Dao pretended not to notice and hummed a tune as a figure lurking behind her got closer and closer. At that moment, Dao suddenly turned around and shouted, "Who is it?" As quick as a flash, Dao threw the purple onion in her hand at the person behind her. Long Then Njayat reacted incredibly fast and caught the purple onion. Third brother. what are you doing in the kitchen? Pointing at herself, she continued to ask, were you trying to scare me? Caught in the act. Then Jayat's face turned red with embarrassment. I came to the kitchen to eat, of course. After saying that, he put the purple onion in his mouth. Seeing this, Dao hurriedly tried to stop him. Wait, that's... But before she could finish, then Jayat had already taken a huge bite. The next second, the spiciness made him steam as he retched nonstop. Blek, blek. Dao looked on helplessly. I just tried to stop you. Wiping his tears, then Jayat tried to save face by making up an excuse. I really like eating onions. Hearing her third brother's forced tone, Dao laughed inwardly, but on the outside, she played along and praised him. That's pretty good. Third brother, what do you want to eat today? You don't like sandwiches, but you like eggs, muffins, bagels, yogurt, or... Seeing her list off so many items, then Jayat cut her off. Just make a sandwich. Hello. But didn't you say before that you don't like sandwiches? Having misspoken, then Jayat stood frozen on the spot, thinking, this is awkward. Under Dao's scrutinizing gaze, the boy blushed and said, I'm hungry. Sandwiches are the most convenient, but I don't like eating them. Dao saw through his thoughts and sighed. Right, whatever you say is right. So unbearably fake. Watching her third brother eat like a hungry tiger, Dao smiled to herself. Such a liar. It's obvious he really likes it. Dao also put a large piece of smoked meat in her mouth. So delicious. When only one piece was left on her plate, Dao looked regretfully towards her third brother's plate. Her reaction caught then Jayat's attention. She likes this, huh? He looked at the tempting plate of smoked meat in front of him and gulped. But then he resolutely picked up his fork and speared them. With very stiff steps, he brought the smoked meat towards Dao. Dao broke into a sweat watching his exaggerated expression. Hey, what is he planning to do? Then Jayat wasn't good at expressing himself. He stuck the fork with the smoked meat onto Dao's plate with a clank, then said just one word, eat. Dao didn't understand and asked again what. Then Jayat's voice was somewhat unnatural as he avoided her gaze and lied. I hate this stuff the most, so from now on, you help me eat it, got it? Dao's face froze as if it had turned to stone. What does that mean? Her expression made then Jayat ask suspiciously, why aren't you eating? Eat it. Dao pointed to her mouth, trying to indicate, brother, the scrambled eggs. And in Jayat's eyes at that moment, brother, I want to eat scrambled eggs. And so, the naive then Jayat thought, so my sister wants to eat scrambled eggs, so she likes this. Without hesitation, he poured his plate of scrambled eggs onto her plate. Eat. Over here, Dao was horrified looking at the huge pile of eggs. I didn't say I wanted to eat scrambled eggs. Then Jayat didn't quite understand Dao's thoughts. After he was done, he sat back down, crossed his arms, closed his eyes, and declared, the scrambled eggs are cold today. You help me finish them. Opposite him, Dao saw the young man's somewhat strange behavior and guessed, something's not right. Could it be? To verify her suspicion, she pretended to look at the glass of milk in her hand and said suggestively, oh my, today's milk is so delicious and fresh, so yummy. Oh dear, how did I finish it so quickly? Seeing how much she liked milk, then Jayat immediately switched to generous mode. He held up 3 fingers and ordered a servant. Why is there so little milk today? Go to the kitchen and bring 3 more servings. Instantly, 3 more glasses of milk appeared on Dao's table. Young miss, please enjoy. Thank you. After confirming her thoughts were correct, Dao couldn't stop laughing to herself. He's really trying to win me over. Opposite her, then Jayat's face was beet red with embarrassment. He pointed and pretended to shout, what are you looking at? Hurry up and eat. Although his method is still as obnoxious as ever, it will take a long time to change. It seems I'm one step closer to victory. Dao excitedly cheered herself on. Let's go. Victory is just ahead. In a cheerful mood, she picked up the glass of milk and drank it all in one go. Then Jayat watched and felt happy too. She likes milk that much? Why is she so happy? Suddenly, he beckoned a nearby, made to come closer, and whispered instructions, trying not to let Dao hear. From now on, serve her 3 glasses of milk at every meal. Yes, young master. Understood. As soon as he turned back to Dao, then Jayat was horrified to see the little girl slumped over the table. What's wrong? Lying on the table, Dao moaned incessantly, feeling like her soul was leaving her body. I can't take it anymore. Drinking 4 glasses in one go is just asking for death. Good morning, Master Long then. He handed the iPad to the butler and instructed, discuss this plan with the Council of Elders first, then proceed as planned. Yes. Looking at the meticulously prepared plate of food on the table, the father asked, did you make these things too? Hearing the question, Dao Dao seemed a bit indifferent. Yes, Daddy. Didn't you say you liked it last time? So I made it. Her father looked at her, his voice turning cold as he ordered, don't do it again. You hear me? Though he was cold on the outside, he was secretly worried. What if she gets hurt? Her father's dead serious expression made Dao Dao's face contort into a forced smile. Okay, Daddy, I know. He's so serious, it's really scary. It seems I still have to find a way to escape from here, or my heart won't be able to take it. Her father took a bite and continued to instruct. Just leave small matters like this to the servants. Be mindful of your status. He had only taken one bite when the butler rushed in, holding a paper envelope. Master Long then, the young Mrs. Test results are here. Her father's gaze suddenly turned sharp. Dao Dao's heart pounded so hard she didn't dare to breathe heavily that it's over. The good days are about to end. Then Jayat was also stunned by this information. Then Leet took the results in his hand and thought, how did the results come back so quickly? Under the intense gaze of the tyrant father, Dao Dao was sweating bullets from the tension. She forced a smile and said as if she were about to cry, Daddy, hurry up and open it. At this moment, she was screaming internally, someone save me. What are the chances of snatching that report? Probably none, right? Dao Dao felt completely hopeless, seeing her drenched in sweat. Then Jayat worriedly handed her a tissue. Are you very hot? Here's a tissue to wipe your sweat. Dao Dao could only take it and force a smile. It is a little hot. She had only wiped a little, but she could wring out a basin of water. At this moment, Dao Dao just wanted to scream for the whole world to hear. Someone turn on the air conditioner. Long and Leet looked at her flustered movements and sighed, having already guessed the result. Back then, when I saw the little girl crying, she looked so much like that woman. So I took her in and told her to stay here temporarily. An image of a girl who looked quite a bit like Dao Dao suddenly appeared in his mind. Collecting his thoughts, Long and Leet gently shook his head to dismiss the thought. But how could she be my daughter? The butler standing to the side was just as anxious. Master Long had said before that the young miss couldn't be his child, but he told her to stay for a while and then find a suitable orphanage to send her to. Why do I now see the master caring about the test results, even wanting the little girl to stay? As soon as Long and Leet looked at the DNA test result, he was immediately shocked. The astonishment was clear in his voice. This is... The results showed that Dao Dao's DNA matched Long and Leet's by 99.99%. Is she really my daughter? His impossibly tense gaze made Dao Dao pray to Buddha in her heart. Why is he suddenly looking at me so fiercely? It's so scary. She was currently lying in wait for death to approach. Boo-hoo! The little deer in my heart has finally died. Looking at his reaction, the result is already too clear. Suddenly, Long and Leet slammed the table, looked at Dao Dao, and shouted, "Where is that woman?" Dao Dao was immediately scared into trembling. That woman? Who is she? Long and Leet impatiently threw the results onto the table, making Dao Dao jump da-da. He frowned and asked coldly, "Your biological mother, where is she?" Filled with suspicion, Dao Dao hastily grabbed the DNA test result. What? I'm actually the daughter of this villainous father? No way, right? Long and Leet returned to his usual tyrannical demeanor, his face growing cold. Speak. This aura scared Dao Dao, and she backed away, stammering, Daddy, I'm sorry. When I woke up, I was already here. I don't remember much about what happened before. Seeing her frightened reaction, Long then Leet paused. The butler, seeing the tense atmosphere, spoke up to defuse the situation. Sir, the young miss is still very young, and she was affected by fear before, so she might have lost some memories. Perhaps. Long then Leet adjusted his emotions, sighed, and said, "Forget it. You go investigate." "Yes, sir." The butler suddenly felt a sense of relief, thinking, I can't believe the young miss is really the master's daughter. The master has always been looking for the young miss's mother. It seems there's finally a clue. Long then Leet was no longer in the mood to eat either. He stood up and went to the study, searching from memory for something hidden in a certain book. Looking at himself and the girl in the photo who resembled Dao Dao, which he had hidden for so long. Long then Leet gave a bitter laugh and said, You're getting bolder and bolder. It was one thing to leave without a word before, but you even hid the fact that you had my child. You'd better not let me find you. After a night more tense than a guitar string, Dao Dao woke up with a sullen face. So sleepy. I had nightmares all last night and couldn't sleep peacefully. The little girl, still doubting her existence, rested her chin in her hands, lost in thought that it's so magical. I can't believe I'm really the daughter of this villain. I remember the novel didn't say the villain had a daughter. Dao carefully recalled the original work she had read. In the novel, the villain's family had 4 members, all of whom were cannon fodder to advance the love story of the male and female leads. In the end, the whole family kicked the bucket. Dao shivered, pitying her own upcoming fate. Although I've temporarily saved my life, I have a feeling that by following this cannon fodder family, I'll become cannon fodder too. Boo-hoo. While she was feeling down, a knock came from the door. Knock, knock. Young miss, may I come in? Realizing it was the butler, she replied cheerfully, please. Come in. Good morning, young Mississippi. The butler appeared with a rack full of expensive designer clothes. Dao was immediately mesmerized by the colors of the beautiful dresses. Wow, these dresses are so beautiful. The butler also happily revealed the master chose these himself. Dao randomly picked a set and was extremely satisfied. She spun around a few times, admiring herself in the mirror. I didn't expect the villain's taste to be so good. She pushed her worries aside for the moment. I'll deal with future matters later. At least for now. It's quite fun here, Outside the door, Benjayat had been waiting for too long and impatiently pushed the door open, poking his head in to ask, why aren't you out yet? Your breakfast is getting cold. Startled, Dao replied in a panic, brother, I'll be right out. I'm braiding my hair. Dao tried to reach her hair, but could only give up helplessly. I can't tie it, my arms are too short. Then Jayat walked over to stand in front of her, held out his hand, and said, you're so useless. Come here, let me do it. Dao asked doubtfully, huh? Third brother, you know how. Under his sister's skeptical gaze, then Jayat was extremely embarrassed. Not wanting to lose his image, the boy said in a loud voice, of course, it's just a braid. What's so hard about it? Not giving Dao a chance to refuse, then Jayat lunged forward, pointing and demanding, just sit still and you'll be satisfied. Seeing her brother's overly dramatic performance, Dao reluctantly agreed, all right. While Dao was eagerly awaiting the result, then Jayat appeared quite flustered as he held her hair. Looking at the 2 strands of hair in his hands, the young man's eyebrows shot up. Oh, that little braid is a bit hard to do, isn't it? Is it the left side? No, it must be the right side. Feeling the pain from her head, Dao's face changed as she asked suspiciously, hey, third brother, are you braiding my hair or pulling it out? Seeing the strands of hair continuously falling on her shoulder, Dao was horrified. Oh my God, I don't want to go bald, boo-hoo. Then Jayat's hands were in a complete fluster, sweat dripping down his tense face. But he was determined not to give up. Wait a minute, I'll figure it out soon. Trust me, there won't be any problem. After a while of focused work, the boy finally completed his masterpiece. Looking at the work he created, then Jayat proudly declared, it's done. Dao picked up the mirror, and her face filled with anger. She gritted her teeth, pointed at the 3 messy buns on her head, and reluctantly growled each word, her smile like a grimace. Yes, this is indeed a perfectly complete style. Her heart wanted to ask, do you think I can still smile, third brother? Why did you come down here to do that? Hearing their father's voice, both of them jumped and greeted in unison, Daddy. Dao, with a gloomy face, explained, Daddy, we're braiding hair. Only then did Long Then Leet notice the 3 messy, out-of-place buns on Dao's head. The more he looked, the more his face contorted, speechless. Seeing this expression, Dao wanted to cry a river. Boo-hoo, the disdain is so obvious. Suddenly, Long Then Leet became interested, coughed a few times, and suggested, ahem, let me do it. As soon as their father finished his sentence, the 2 siblings were shocked still. Dao's heart was filled with doubt about her existence. Is this villain family using me as a plaything? Or something? The father was no different from his son. Only Dao was stunned when she looked at herself in the mirror. Seeing the 5 clumps of hair on her head, she trembled with anger. Dad, what are you so proud of? This is even worse than before. Watching the villainous father and son, one praising and the other receiving, made Dao want to scream. What do you 2 have to be proud of? Unable to swallow her anger, Dao flared up and shouted, both dad and brother are idiots. Get out of here, I want to tie it myself. With that, she pushed them both out the door. Dao took out her frustration on the door. The loud slam seemingly meant to put the father and son in their place. Then Jayat asked doubtfully, "Does little sister want to tie more braids?" His father nodded in confirmation with a straight face. Probably. Next time I'll tie 6. Dao finally finished fixing her hair and clothes. She came downstairs with a bright smile and said, "Dad, brother, sorry for making you wait. Let's start dinner." Dao's eyes lit up when she saw her plate full of meat. Wow, why is there so much bacon? Assuming that Jayat had given it to her like the day before, she smiled brightly. "Thank you, third brother." Being exposed, the young man blushed and denied it firmly. "No, I didn't say I was giving it to you." Dao chewed heartily and replied, "Oh, it wasn't third brother who gave it to me." Then Jayat stubbornly denied it. "I said it wasn't me. It wasn't me." Dao winked as if she saw through everything. Got it. As she was feeling cheerful, a strange voice called out, "Daddy, I'm home." Dao looked over and froze in fear. Could this red-haired child be the villain's second son? Is it Long Than Fong? The novel had repeatedly described the red-haired Long Than Fong as a complete madman. Long Than Fong appeared before Dao and asked, "Who is this little sister?" Dao felt a chill run down her spine, noticing that her second brother's smile was a bit sinister. Then Jayat spoke up cheerfully, "Brother, you're back." In the center, Long Than Leet wiped his hands and spoke, "She is Long Than Dao, my daughter, and also your sister. From now on, you must treat her well. Do you understand?" Long Than Fong's eyes suddenly turned a bewitching red. "Little sister?" Then he collected himself and said with a friendly smile, "I didn't expect to go to summer camp and come back to a new little sister. I like little sisters the most." Dao looked at that smile and got goosebumps. "Haha, really? But I don't believe you." In the novel, the third brother became violent and arrogant after becoming a villain, but his mind was still simple. However, this second one was completely different. Long Than Fong suddenly took out a piece of candy and asked with a smile, "Little sister, want some candy?" The candy in Long Than Fong's hand made Dao freeze in fear. After growing up and becoming a villain, he became a famous poison concoctor. And the novel said that as a child, he liked to add some spices to food. The more Dao thought about it, the more she dared not move. Seeing that she wouldn't take it, Long Than Fong put on a disappointed look. "What's wrong, little sister? Don't you like candy?" Under the gaze of many people, Dao tremblingly reached out her hand to accept it. "Thank you, brother." Dao loves candy. She put the candy in her dress pocket and made an excuse, but Dao has to eat breakfast first before she can have candy. "Then try the special powder I researched and made at summer camp." After saying that, Long Than Fong sprinkled some kind of powder on the cake in front of Dao. With a sinister smile, Long Than Fong repeatedly urged, "Hurry and try it. It's delicious." "Oh my God, do I really have to eat this meal today?" Dao's face turned pale looking at the food that Long Than Fong had sprinkled with some spice. "Boo-hoo, do I really have to eat today's meal?" Just then, her father's voice rang out. Wait, Dao felt like she had grasped a lifeline and was moved to tears. "Boo-hoo, Daddy, why does the villain's voice sound so pleasant right now?" Heavens! Long Than Leet wiped his mouth with a napkin and said, "If you don't want to eat it, then don't. There's no need to force yourself." Then, her father looked sternly at his second son and taught him a lesson. "Long Than Fong, haven't I told you not to experiment with those strange things on your own?" At this moment, Long Than Jayat, with a piece of sandwich in his mouth, spoke up for Dao. "That's right, second brother. I remember I got diarrhea after eating what he made. Little sister is still very young, so don't force her to eat." Seeing Dao's tearful and moved gaze, the boy became a little embarrassed, waved his hand stiffly, and tried to explain, "I'm not speaking up for you. Don't get the wrong idea." Seeing her brother like this, Dao didn't expose him. She said softly, I know, but thank you anyway." Long Than Fong was stunned to see everyone taking Dao's side. How could this be? In the dining room, then Jayat's lively voice could be heard. "Little sister, maybe we shouldn't eat." This concern from him made Long Than Fong feel a surge of annoyance. How interesting. That little girl can actually make dad and younger brother protect her. His competitiveness wouldn't allow Long Than Fong to just let it go. He suddenly snatched the fork with Dao's piece of smoked meat. He even looked at her and giggled. Dao felt a chill hearing the laugh, her eyes almost popping out at Long Than Fong's sudden action. Under her wary gaze, Long Than Fong unhurriedly put the piece of bacon into his mouth and savored it. "Oh my, this bacon is delicious." Dao's inner thoughts were something like, "You got to be kidding me." Realizing something was wrong, she paused. "Wait, he ate it? Does that mean it wasn't poisoned?" After finishing, Long and Fong looked sad and sighed. What a pity. It seems no one likes what I made. With that, he walked over and stroked out Dao's head dotingly. Then I'll buy you something later as a welcome gift. Dao was on high alert as her second brother stroked her hair, too tense to move. Her second brother's fingers touching her face made Dao feel like she was freezing over cold. Does this guy live in an ice cellar? Why is there no warmth on him at all? Pushing Dao's chin towards him, Long and Fong looked her in the eye and said with a hidden meaning, there will definitely be a flavor you like. Knowing her second brother wouldn't let her off the hook, Dao could only tremble and force a laugh. Ahaha, thank you, brother. I'm looking forward to it. Her inner self just wanted to leave this villain's house. Oh no, it seems my life from now on won't be peaceful. After eating, Long and Fong quietly returned to his research room. After meeting Dao, he had become interested in a new spice. While he was engrossed in his research, Long and Fong overheard a conversation between two maids. Wow, the master and the third young master gave gifts to the young miss again. Of course, didn't you know? They've given gifts 3 times this week. The masters really doted on the young miss. Speaking of Dao, this maid's voice was full of adoration. Who wouldn't like the young miss? She's cute and well-behaved, and most importantly, she's very friendly and approachable, and very good to servants like us. The other maid happily agreed. Right. I think even the third young master has become cuter after meeting the young miss. While the two were happily chatting, they suddenly caught Long and Fong's super cold glare. The maid shrank in fear. Hello, second young master. Oh no, I heard the second young master is a strange person. Is he going to punish us? Long and Fong exuded a bewitching aura and asked with a cold smile, are you disturbing my research? But do you want to come in here too? That threat made the two maids' faces turn pale with fear. We're sorry, second young master. It's my fault for not knowing the rules. We'll leave right away. After saying that, the two maids picked up their skirts and ran for their lives, not daring to stay any longer. Long and Fong's attention was caught by the maid's earlier words. He softly repeated, everyone likes the young miss. Looking at the solution he had just concocted, Long and Fong thought with a delighted smile, if I could turn her body into a doll, wouldn't people like her even more? The next day, Dao was still haunted by her second brother all night and didn't dare to get out of bed. She rested her chin on her hand, deep in thought. I remember that in the novel, the third brother was imprisoned by the female lead, and the second brother's fate was even more tragic. Because he couldn't win the female lead's love, Long and Fong completely blackened. Then he used the poison he researched to kill the male lead. But he was tricked by the male lead into taking his own poison, and finally died with resentment. The more she thought, the more pensive she became, sighing, I didn't expect second brother to be developing such strange things at such a young age. Dao suddenly felt a heaviness in her heart. Her eyes filled with sadness as she thought, I don't know why, but whether it's second brother, third brother, or the others, I don't want their futures to end in tragedy. How can I save the entire villain family from this tragic fate? While she was feeling down, a knock came at the door. Dao collected her thoughts and got out of bed. Coming. Who is it today? So early. Dao opened the door with an excited heart, thinking it was the familiar maid, and said with a bright smile, who is it today? Let me see who's here. What met her eyes was the chillingly smiling face of her second brother, which made Dao choke on her words. Long and Fong, holding a wicker basket, smiled at her with narrowed eyes. Hello, little sister. Dao stammered as second brother. She cried and cursed herself. Damn it, my damn mouth got me in trouble. I should have just pretended not to be here and not answered. My mouth is faster than my brain. Long and Fong held up the basket overflowing with fruit and said in a friendly manner, I came to give my little sister some fruit. Can I come in? Pointing to the basket of shiny, juicy fruit in his hand, the brother continued, look, all of this is for you. Do you think I dare to eat it? Although Dao thought this, on the outside she still put on a welcoming posture. Welcome, very welcome, second brother, huh? Then I'll come in. A sinister smile spread across Long and Fong's lips as he casually walked inside, while Dao's heart pounded like a drum. Her eyes looking behind him, he's in. She suddenly began to worry about her own fate. I think right now, I shouldn't be thinking about how to save the villain family, but how to save my own skin first. I've made all sorts of snacks with different flavors for you. Come and try them. They're delicious. Long and Fong excitedly laid out all the dishes on the table for her. Although Dao was unwilling. She could only sweat bullets and praise him perfunctorily. Wow, second brother is so talented. But didn't you say yesterday that you would buy snacks for me? Over here, Long and Fong took a plate of cake from the basket and said with a smile, "That's right, I bought all the ingredients. I just combined them." What does that not count as buying? On the surface, Dao Dao praised, "You're so thoughtful." But on the side, she thought, TSK, TSK, if you don't know how to make it, don't waste the ingredients. Dao Dao walked over and looked at the pastries covered in a layer of dark ingredients and shivered. How is anyone supposed to eat this? The more she looked, the more she wanted to vomit, constantly screaming internally, "No, I really can't stand it." Seeing that she didn't dare to try, Long and Fong resorted to his soft and hard tactics, saying, "Just choose whatever you want. I'm not the type of person who likes to force others. You just need to choose one flavor you like." Looking at her second brother's sleazy smile, Dao Dao wanted to curse him because his thoughts were now written all over his face. Hurry up and pick one. If you don't pick one to eat, I'm not leaving, Dao Dao sighed. Your inner thoughts are written all over your face. How could I dare not choose? She warily looked at the plate of cake covered in a purple spice behind him. I end this situation. Who would believe it's not poisoned? Dao Dao showed her determination. I absolutely cannot eat these things. But she felt quite conflicted. What to do? But if I don't eat, I can't send this great Buddha away. After thinking for a moment, she reached out and pinched her chubby belly, praying for good luck that it's all up to you, fat. The girl forced a smile and made an excuse. Brother, I like all of these snacks, but Dao Dao just finished eating. My belly is full and I can't eat anymore. She walked over to the basket, picked it up, and asked with a cute expression, "Second brother, can you give me this basket too?" Long and Fong looked at her calculatingly and said with a smile, "I can." Hearing this, Dao Dao smiled like a flower and exclaimed, "That's great. I love this bamboo basket. Thank you, second brother, for the gift." In her heart, she was secretly pleased and laughed to herself. This guy definitely didn't expect me to choose this. Miscalculated, didn't you? I can easily handle a petty, possessive guy like him, On the chair, Long and Fong said nothing and just indifferently picked up a large piece of cake and put it in his mouth. Seeing this, Dao Dao's expression became exaggerated, her mouth forming an O as she said, "Huh? What? You're really eating it?" After finishing, her second brother even licked his fingers with a look of craving. Little sister really knows how to choose. Long and Fong stood up and approached Dao Dao step by step. It seems you really like the scent of bamboo, don't you? Dao Dao was stunned to hear this. Scent? That sentence directly piqued Dao Dao's curiosity. "Let me smell it." Dao Dao had no idea that when she leaned in to smell the bamboo basket, she had also unknowingly inhaled the fragrance that Long and Fong had created. Oh, there really is a faint smell of bamboo. It's quite fragrant. Dao Dao had no idea she had fallen into her second brother's trap, and even happily thanked him. "It smells really nice. I will definitely cherish my second brother's gift." Seeing that his goal had been achieved, Long and Fong turned around. "As long as you like it." After taking a few steps, Long and Fong stopped, smiled slyly, and counted 3, 2. Dao Dao heard this, and a question mark appeared above her head. What is he counting? Long and Fong turned to look at her, snapped his fingers, and said loudly, 1. The moment he finished speaking, Dao Dao felt her head spin. A pain from her stomach made her drop the bamboo basket in her hand. Dao Dao lay on the ground, rolling around in pain. She clutched her stomach and moaned incessantly, "Ouch, ouch, my stomach hurts so much." Struggling to support her pain body, she reached out to Long and Fong and begged, "Second brother, you have the antidote, right? Quickly give me the antidote. Save me." In response to her plea, Long and Fong crossed his arms and said with a cold smile, "Humph, I never made an antidote because your existence has changed everyone in my family." Dao Dao was in agony, her face turning green and white as she tried to reach for Long and Fong. "Second brother, don't." But Long and Fong was unmoved. He smiled coldly. "This is the price." After saying that, he coldly turned and left, leaving Dao Dao collapse behind him. At this moment, Dao Dao felt like she couldn't breathe. Am I about to die? Her body trembled uncontrollably. Dao curled up, hugging her body, thinking resentfully. It wasn't easy to finally feel a sense of belonging here. Everything was developing in a good direction. Yesterday, I was even thinking about how to help second brother avoid his tragic fate in the future. What a heartless person. The more she thought, the more Dao felt she couldn't swallow this anger. She endured the pain and staggered to her feet, cursing inwardly. You stinking bastard. Dao walked over, grabbed the bamboo basket on the ground, and picked it up. Long and Fong sensitively realized something was wrong and looked back. But as soon as he looked, he broke out in a cold sweat when he saw Dao's dark, gloomy face, holding the bamboo basket and charging fiercely towards him. Without a second word, Dao jumped on her second brother's back and clung on tightly, then sank her sharp teeth into his shoulder. In pain, Long and Fong screamed, "Ah, you." Facing her second brother's stunned look, Dao replied with a cold laugh. "Ha, you poisoned me, didn't you? Then I'll use poison to fight poison and see what you do." Not stopping there, she brought the bamboo basket up, intending to slam it over Long and Fong's head. "Brother, you can smell it too. It smells very fragrant, doesn't it?" Seeing the bamboo basket above his head, Long and Fong struggled with all his might. "Let go." But Dao held on even tighter, refusing to back down. "Not a chance, little one. I'm so happy to receive a gift from my brother. I have to share it with him." Just then, without planning it, a sound came from both of their stomachs, causing them both to freeze for a few seconds. The gurgling sound from both of their stomachs grew louder, and their expressions froze in place. The stomach ache made Dao immediately let go of Long and Fong. She clutched her stomach and shouted for words. "The bathroom. Ah, the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom." Long and Fong was in just as much pain, also clutching his stomach and lurching forward to get there first. I'm going first. Let me go first. Dao threw all caution to the wind and rushed forward, pushing her second brother with her hands, neither willing to give way. The chase and struggle between the two created a noisy commotion throughout the villa. This noise even caught Long and Jai's attention. Looking over, he was quite surprised by the chase, its second brother and little sister. The young man misunderstood, thinking that the relationship between his brother and sister had improved. Are they playing with each other? Seeing the bathroom right in front of him, Long and Fong sped up. It's the bathroom. The young man looked smugly at Dao and said, "Humph, I'll get there first." Behind him, Dao trembled with anger and cursed, "Humph, what a brat." Her mind raced. She turned around and shouted for help. "Third brother, if you help me catch second brother, I'll make you a super-duper giant sandwich tomorrow." As soon as Long and Jai had heard this, he excitedly transformed into a wolf and lunged at his second brother, joining the fray, not forgetting to tell Dao, "Then I want double eggs and double sausage." Behind him, Dao laughed gleefully and clapped her hands in agreement, while Long and Fong was shocked, not expecting Dao to have this trick up her sleeve. "What?" Dao successfully entered the bathroom first. She poked her head out and laughed triumphantly. "Second brother, Dao got here first." Wait. Before Long and Fong could finish his sentence, Dao decisively slammed the door shut. "Little Giant, let go." Long and Giant heard his brother's gurgling stomach and paused. "Hey, second brother, your stomach is growling." Freed, Long and Fong clutched his gut with both hands and tried to hold it in as he walked forward. Countless boom sounds like almond bombs went off, making Long and Giant behind him ask worriedly, "Second brother, are you okay?" An hour later, both Dao and Long and Fong were slumped limply on the sofa. Looking at Dao, Long and Fong clapped his hands and praised that, "Oh, little sister, you're smart." Dao glanced over with a resentful face and said, "Same to you." She was extremely annoyed and cursed inwardly. How can he still smile? But is about to shoot sparks. Luckily, he only gave me a laxative and not poison. Long and Fong looked at her with interest and said, "It seems I'll have to think carefully about how to deal with you next time." Hearing there would be a next time, Dao fumed, put her hands on her hips, and said loudly, "Whatever you do, second brother, I won't give up." As she was full of fighting spirit, she felt herself being lifted up. Turning around, she discovered it was her father. Long and Leet looked at her dotingly and asked, "What are you talking about?" Seeing her father, Dao was extremely excited. She was about to tattle, "Daddy, second brother." Over here, Long and Fong was very worried she would tell on him and cut her off. "You don't talk nonsense." Dao discovered this guy's weakness and laughed triumphantly. Oh, this sick brat is also afraid of Dad. So she decided to get back at him and scare her second brother a bit. She pretended to say, Daddy, second brother. On the other side, Long and Fong got more and more scared as he listened. Standing up, his face was tense and drenched in sweat, extremely afraid. But at the last minute, Dao Dao changed her mind, turned the tables, and said with a smile, he gave me a gift, and I like it a lot. Long and Fong was prepared for a scolding, but didn't expect Dao Dao to say that. Huh? What does she mean by that? Her father gently pinched her face and said, oh, it seems you like Fong a lot, huh? Dao Dao could only force a smile in response. Then, Fong, you take good care of your sister today. As he spoke, her father tossed her over to Long and Fong. Long and Fong caught her and replied, yes, father. Long and Leet couldn't resist coming over to pinch her bow-like face a few more times before stopping. He was filled with admiration. I didn't realize how satisfying it is to pinch. After handing Dao Dao to his second son, the father and the butler left. When no one else was around, Long and Fong looked at her meaningfully and asked, you didn't tattle on me. It seems little sister has another plan, doesn't she? Dao Dao replied with a sycophantic smile. Brother, Dao Dao has a big belly, but a generous heart. Little sister just doesn't want to argue with you. She said to herself, if I tell Dad and he punishes him, it might make him angrier and more vicious than before. So it's better for me to appease him first. The fiery confrontation between the two was a stalemate, with each having their own calculations. On this side, Long Manjayat asked doubtfully, what are second brother and little sister doing? The fiery confrontation was reaching a climax when it was broken by the appearance of Long Manjayat. Hey, are you two playing a staring contest? I want to play too. After a while, all three of them were exhausted and lay limply together. That was fun. Second brother and fourth sister, remember to bring me along next time you play. Okay, third brother. Seeing that Long Manjayat was no longer as disagreeable as before, even Dao Dao was puzzled. Since when did third brother become so naive? Oh well, as long as he doesn't turn bad. He's still a good brother. On this side, Long and Fong looked at Dao Dao and whispered with a hidden meaning, I wonder if little sister will have the chance to play with us in the future. As soon as Dao Dao heard that, her mood dropped. She grumbled to herself, I think this guy is a lost cause. Not wanting to stay in this place any longer, she jumped down, made a face, and said, brothers, Dao Dao is going to play by herself now. Goodbye. At this point, her goodwill towards her second brother had soured. Just let him turn into a bad guy and be destroyed by the main character's neener. Seeing her leave in a huff, the smile in Long and Fong's eyes grew wider. Really interesting. Everyone stays away from me, but I didn't expect this smelly little brat who came out of nowhere to confront me directly. It seems I have to battle this little girl. Early in the morning, in a magnificent mansion. Then Dao was still sleepy when a dark shadow approached her. Then Dao was startled. Opening her eyes, she thought a stranger had come, so she covered her face with her hands, her eyes welling up with tears. Don't come here. The dark shadow called out softly, little Mississippi. Then Dao realized it wasn't a stranger and calmed down to, oh, it's the maid, Kylie. Kylie called out gently, little miss, it's time to wake up. Good morning. Then Dao replied cheerfully, good morning, Sister Kylie. Kylie focused on tying her hair, while then Dao's mind wandered. Ever since Long and Fong came back, I've been having nightmares every day. It's so annoying. Kylie finally finished tying her hair. She asked with an expectant look, it's done. Does a little miss like it? Then Dao immediately praised her. It's so beautiful. I love it. She replied with a happy and delighted expression. Then Dao hugged Kylie's waist and nuzzled her with her fluffy head. Kylie giggled, tickled by her. Then Dao was not disrespectful just because she was a maid. She said politely, thank you, Sister Kylie, thinking to herself, luckily, Dad lets Sister Kylie take care of me, so this wounded soul of mine can be soothed a little. Kylie picked her up, looked at her with a gentle gaze, and asked, then let me take the little miss to change clothes, okay? Then Dao replied happily, okay. Arriving at the dining room, Kylie said respectfully, good morning, Master Longnan. Good morning, two young masters. I brought the little miss down. Long and Jayat called out excitedly, little sister, come here quickly. Then Dao said politely, thank you, third brother. Then Jayat pulled out a chair for her and said sit. Long and Leet personally tied a napkin for her looked at then Dao with loving eyes, and said caringly, "Let's eat breakfast." She smiled back at him, "Yes, Dad." Then the Dao looked at the boy sitting opposite her and greeted politely, "Good morning, second brother." Long then Fong clicked his tongue without replying, thinking to himself, so annoying. Then Fong turned to his father and said politely, "I'm full. I'm on my tutoring class now, Dad." Then Lead agreed and added, "Take your sister with you today. She likes playing with you." Then Dao's heart skipped a beat when she heard that, thinking what? Then Fong looked at her with disdain, but still replied, "Yes, Dad." Seeing this, then Dao stammered, "Dad, actually I don't like it that much." Then Jayat, seeing this, became anxious that I like playing with my sister too. "Ah, no. I mean I also like tutoring too." Then Leet saw through his son's thoughts but smiled and asked, "Don't you hate tutoring the most?" Then Jayat frowned, looking embarrassed. Suddenly, "I like it today." Then he pulled in Dao's hand and said cheerfully, "Let's go, little sister." Her left hand was also grabbed by then Fong, so then Dao had no choice. Her inner self was screaming violently, "You don't have to drag me like this, do you? Life is not easy." Dao sighed. In the classroom, a teacher with a cane and a student were already waiting. Then Fong spoke first, "Teacher Vincent, hello." As for then Jayat, he hid behind the door, peeking his head out to scout. "Teacher Vincent, hello." The person standing in the room was the tutor, Vincent. The boy, Nyen, was Long Than Leet's nephew, Long Than Nyen. Vincent frowned in displeasure and scolded, 1 minute late. This is not an enthusiastic attitude towards learning. Look at Nyen. He's younger than you, but much more eager to learn, arriving an hour early. Then Dao was shocked, her eyes wide. "I remember now, this tutor is one of the catalysts that caused the 3 Long Than brothers to blacken." Vincent noticed her. "You must be the adopted daughter that Master Long then just took in from outside." He thought to himself, "What can a child this young learn? Such a waste of my time." Seeing his attitude, then Dao silently judged, as expected, he's not a good person. Because this old man was the tutor for the Long Than family since the previous villain's generation, he is so incredibly arrogant. Then Jayat spoke up in protest, "Teacher, she is my biological sister, not adopted." Then Dao looked at him and called out softly, "Third brother." She thought to herself, "Third brother is also afraid of this teacher, but he still stood up to speak for me. I'm so moved." Vincent tapped his cane on the ground, making a thump sound. "All right." He glanced at the 3 siblings and ordered, "Sit down. Don't waste my time. The grammar we will be learning today is..." Then Dao tugged on the corner of Jayat's shirt. She whispered, "Third brother." "Thank you, third brother." Dao was a little scared just now, but luckily third brother stood up for me, so Dao feels more at ease. She said her thanks to then Jayat with excitement. Then Jayat said proudly, "I told you I'm reliable." Then Fong rested his chin on his hand and glanced at the 2 of them, thinking to himself, what a naive and simple-minded little brother, being tricked into a daze by a scheming little sister. A thick book was thrown onto then Jayat's desk, startling him. Vincent looked down from above, his voice threatening, "If you do your own thing again, you're out. How can you learn if you're talking privately? My class doesn't welcome idiots." Look at Nyen, he got first place on the midterm exam at school again. He angrily and unabashedly compared the 2. Nyen also turned to look with an emotionless face. Vincent frowned with contempt. "And what about you?" "Long Than Jayat, your test score was second this time, right?" asked. Then Jayat was stunned at seeing his foolish little brother being put on the spot by the teacher. Then Fong couldn't help but chuckle. Vincent was annoyed, frowning at him. "Long Than Fong, you're still laughing? You play with those dark and strange things all day. You don't put your mind to studying. I really don't understand how the Long Than family raised a weirdo like you." Although then Jayat and then Fong didn't argue back, their eyes clearly showed annoyance and unwillingness to accept it. Then Dao observed the situation and realized something was wrong, silently calculating, "This is not good. It seems the blackening progress of my second and third brothers has taken another step forward." Then Dao was still lost in thought, "I can't let the 2 of them continue to blacken like this. I have to quickly think of a way to stop it." Then Jayat was startled by her action. "Little sister." At this moment, then Dao spoke up to protect her brother in her own way. "Teacher, you can't talk about my brother like that." Then Nyen hadn't even understood what was happening yet. Vincent was not pleased with then Dao's behavior. "What do you think you're doing? Get down from my desk. What kind of behavior is this?" She proved her words with practical examples that I'm not doing anything. I just want to say that my third brother is very good at sports. Last time at the sports festival, he won 3 medals in a row. Why are you still hesitating over there? I won't be happy just because you say that. Actually, I'm so happy I could die. She praised Fong's talent to know that my second brother is also very good at chemistry experiments. The sweets he makes are also very creative. He was shy about being liked by D. I in her eyes. The cakes I make are creative. She confidently asserted to everyone that Dao's older brothers were undeniably skilled. The power of praise is truly magical. You guys, the 2 kids seemed much happier. Then Dao actually used a serious expression to speak to him. Teacher, you don't understand them at all. How can you judge them so casually? How can a teacher who doesn't understand his students teach well? Vincent was furious, but couldn't do anything. What? You dare to criticize your teacher? This is rebellion. Then Dao's point of view was indeed spot on. Teachers are human too. Everyone makes mistakes, so why can't they be criticized? She was immensely proud of Fong and then Jayat. I think you're just jealous because I have such wonderful older brothers. He was so annoyed he was panting. You've gone too far talking such nonsense. Then Vincent flashed a cunning smile. All right then. If you say your brothers are so great, then in a few days, it will be the long family's banquet. At that time, let's see if your precious brothers are welcomed or not, shall we? He thought smugly. In the past, those 2 useless boys never spoke up at other parties. None of their peers would get close to them, and eventually, they just stopped coming altogether. This time, they definitely won't dare to participate either. Then Dao was worried by the challenge he set. What should I do? I can't just decide for my brothers, especially if they don't want to go. Vincent believed he had won without a fight. What's wrong? You don't dare to participate? So you do know in your hearts that you're not very welcome, huh? She trembled, unable to speak. Damn old man. So this is what it feels like to be refuted in his silence. Then Jayat's voice echoed. What's there not to go to? I'll go. Then Dao turned her head slightly to look. Third brother. He was still being stubborn, though he wanted to protect her. Family banquets are a lot of fun. I like going. I'm not helping you, you know. Then Dao stood on the table and cheered. Great. Then Fong will also participate. All right. Her expression was the opposite of before. Wait, did I hear that right? Second brother wants to go too. He answered decisively. Parties are interesting. Then Fong's eyes showed he was completely willing that I also like lively and crowded places. The questions in her heart were temporarily set aside to make way for a smile. That's wonderful. Then Dao was more excited than anyone that we will participate. We hope you'll be there too, teacher. He didn't believe the 3 siblings' words. Fine, these 3 weirdos will surely be isolated. Are you done talking? Now long than Dao for disrupting the class. Get out and stand in the corner as punishment. She jumped down lightly, secretly delighted. Great, I was just wondering how to kill time. Now I finally have a reason to skip this sleep-inducing lesson. Then Dao even sang a song that drove him mad with anger. She suddenly stopped when she realized something was missing. It turned out she just wanted to say goodbye to everyone. Well, I'll be going first, bye-bye. Then Jayat had also wanted to leave for a long time, but couldn't find a reason that I'm going with her too. This class is so boring. Whoever likes it can have it. Vincent was startled. What? He deliberately walked slowly to see the teacher's reaction. Your legs are too short. You walk so slowly. Then Dao was exasperated with Jayat, third brother. He picked her up in his arms and didn't forget to remind her, let's go, hold on tight. Then Dao was polite, but also a bit mischievous. Thank you, third brother. Vincent, provoked, held a grudge in his heart. Fine, very well. It's good that the 2 useless ones are gone. Now there's no one to disrupt the class. Let's continue. Then Fong casually tossed his book on the table with a half-hearted explanation. If my younger brother and sister are both gone, then I have no reason to stay either. He criticized others without reflecting on his own actions. How improper, a bunch of ill-mannered kids. Long than Nian, you are the hope of the family. You must absolutely not be like them, you hear? He could only nod in agreement. Yes. Then Nian now realized her identity. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly with interest. Oh, she's Uncle's youngest daughter. Huh. Night fell. Then Dao asked her 2 brothers to prepare thoroughly. Second brother, third brother, you've attended the family banquet before, right? Were there many other kids to play with? Seeing how quickly the 2 of them agreed. The previous parties must have been very fun, right? Then it would be easy to embarrass that old man. Then Jayat sat alone at a table. That family banquet, there's nothing fun about it. Isn't it just about one person eating a lot, and that's it? She thought to herself, this clearly means no one would play with him. She placed a little hope in Fong.s S.O. What about second brother? This ominous feeling grew stronger. He was comfortable not being surrounded. Everyone around me stays a meter away, which is very convenient since I don't like crowds. Then Dao didn't know how to explain it to him. This is clearly being isolated, isn't it? She looked at her two brothers, her heart filled with worried, and oh wonder that old man was so smug. I have to think of a way to help my brothers integrate into this party. Early morning, then Dao lay sprawled on the bed, sighing. The party is about to start, and I still haven't come up with any good ideas. I'm so worried. She suddenly sat up, commenting on Enlite. Who can I ask for help now? Dad, the villain, has been so busy lately his feet don't touch the ground. I can't catch him at all. A subordinate was startled when Enlite sneezed. Lot long tongue. Kelly, knowing her schedule well, came to knock on the door to is the young mistress awake. Then Dao immediately recognized her. It's Sister Kelly. She gently massaged then Dao's head. The young mistress didn't sleep well. It seems like something is on your mind. An idea suddenly popped in her head. That's right. I can ask Sister Kelly for advice. Then Dao's eyes sparkled. Sister Kelly, how do I get the other kids at the party to like me? According to Kelly's experience, in the past, at parties, everyone usually liked polite and courteous children, the kind who speak gently and have elegant gestures. She nodded in agreement. Dao understands. Then Dao gently kissed her on the cheek. Thank you. After being kissed, Kelly felt a surge of joy in her heart. The young mistress is so adorable. She waved goodbye to Kelly. I'm going to find my brothers. Sister Kelly, see you later. The dining room of the mansion was truly luxurious. Then Dao called out, second brother, third brother, Dao has something important to tell you. Then Fong teased, is little sister planning to murder her timid brother? She was ready to improve their relationships with everyone. Brothers, from now on, to become the most popular people at the party, we must begin special training. The mansion's grand hall looked magnificent. Then Jaya tried to get used to it.is. Is it like this? Then Dao also actively studied etiquette. Sister Kelly, look at me. I've learned it. She was about to lose her patience. That I've learned about 40%, right? Is that okay? He was fed up with the cumbersome etiquette. It's these pretentious games again. Then Dao reminded then Fong, second brother, don't be lazy. Hurry up and practice with us. He had no interest in this. So boring. These preparations are useless. So what if they like us? It's a waste of effort. She thought it over carefully. It seems the special training still needs to be tailored to each of them. The ancients were right when they said to teach according to aptitude. He was pulled away by then Dao. What are you planning to do? She introduced excitedly. Of course, I'm taking you to a secret training session just for you. Then Fong was exasperated by this situation. What trick is this kid trying to pull now? She actually led him to the kitchen. Second brother, look quickly. Aren't these sweets super cute, super beautiful? Dao will practice hard with you, trying to make beautiful cakes. Who knows? Maybe everyone will like them too. Then Fong was a little disappointed that things were turning out the same way. What do you mean? I thought she was different, but no, she's no different from the others. He thought then Dao was just sweet-talking him. Didn't you say before that you found my cakes very creative? Was that all just a lie? She hurriedly denied. No, I was telling the truth. Then Fong turned his face away. You don't have to force yourself to praise me. I'll handle the party myself. Then Dao was always worried about him. Second brother. Couples were dancing to the music in the hall. The young children couldn't help but be surprised. Then Jayat had changed himself to fit in at today's party. Good morning, my dear friends. Then Dao looked adorable in her ball gown. Hello, everyone. After days of practice, I finally did it. It was so hard. He still wasn't used to the cumbersome etiquette. I stood up too fast. My head is a little dizzy. No one expected that then Jayat and she would fall to the ground. Ouch, ouch. The people around them had another chance to gossip. Look, those two weird siblings. As expected, they were putting on an act just now, and now their true colors are showing. I think they're a bit strange. It's best to stay away from them. Vincent appeared at that exact moment. TSK, it's been a few days and you kids are still as foolish as ever. Then Dao bluntly criticized him. What kind of way is that to talk? A guest at the party cried out that, oh no, my priceless necklace has been stolen. Only then Jayat cared about the girl. What a thief. Watch this. He panicked as soon as he turned his head to look. Whoa. He quickly caught the thief. Let's see where you can run now. Oh no, little sister said that only by behaving politely would everyone like me. But now I've been so rough catching this person. Isn't all the effort from the past few days down the drain? But the guests praised Jayat for his courageous act. A young hero. An athlete is different, after all. You're Longden's son, right? Lord Longden has really raised his son well. He puffed out his chest with pride that IT was nothing. Then Dao refuted his point of view. See, I told you my brother is super amazing. Everyone has their own strengths. Being good at academics isn't the only way to be skilled. Vincent still held onto his old-fashioned thinking. And then there's that freak Longden Fong. My judgment of people has never been wrong. A freak is just a freak. Everyone around stared at Fong. He took the opportunity to mock him again. Look, is this what he calls being like? Then Dao had a stunned look in her eyes. Although Longden Fong is a bit eccentric, he's still just a child. Being pointed at by everyone like this must be very upsetting. As the people around were whispering, then Fong walked forward. The child next to him was so scared he sidled away. He spoke up, "You truly have no taste." He held the plate of cakes, feeling a sense of disappointment in his heart. His face was sullen. Suddenly, a tiny hand snatched a pastry from the plate. "Hey!" The small voice rang out, startling Fong for a moment. Then Dao, with sparkling eyes, gently comforted him that, "I like you, second brother, and I also like the cakes you make." Dao isn't lying. On the surface, it was like that, but inside she was smiling bitterly, thinking, actually, second brother must really enjoy researching food and really wants people to taste the things he makes himself, right? It's just that the shapes of the cakes are a bit too creative. They look terrifying. Oh well, I'll be the first one to support second brother. Then she raised her hand and swallowed the cake whole. Her eyes suddenly lit up. After eating, she excitedly praised Fong to the heavens. "Second brother, this cake is so delicious, so incredibly delicious." Hearing the praise, he asked in a daze, "Really, really?" Hearing Dao's praise, then Jayat also came over, picked up a cake, and looked up. "Really?" But the thing second brother made before tasted a bit strange. She stood on her tiptoes, shaking Jayat's arm, urging him, "Third brother, hurry up and try it." As soon as it entered his mouth, his eyes went wide. After eating, he praised him profusely that, "Oh my God, second brother, when did you become a genius? This is ridiculously delicious." Finally, his efforts were recognized, which improved Fong's mood. He smiled shyly with delight. You two really have a good eye." Vincent stood nearby, listening to the two kids flatter him. He sneered and taunted, "You two are ridiculous, putting on a show for yourselves. Look, does anyone else even care about you?" Hearing him, then Dao cursed inwardly in anger, this detestable old man. Suddenly, a figure approached them from a distance. A soft voice spoke, "Hello." A cute little girl with golden hair. Her hand nervously clutched the hem of her dress as she timidly asked, "I'd like to try a piece too. Is that okay?" Surprised that someone wanted to try his cake, then Fong blushed and said awkwardly, "Yes, of course." The children around were also stunned by the little girl's action. "Really?" Even Vincent was dumbfounded, unable to believe his eyes, and exclaimed, "Impossible." The little girl ate the cake, her face beaming with praise. "Your cake is delicious, and the shape is so unique. I love it." Then Fong was happy, placing a hand on his chest and bowing slightly in thanks. "Thank you for liking it." Suddenly, everyone around them started chattering, praising his cakes, leaving both of them standing there stunned. Someone else wanted to taste it too. "What a cool cake. I've never seen anything like it. I want one too, can I?" "Me too. The shape is so strange. Can I have one?" Then Fong's face turned slightly red. He said excitedly, "You all have good taste. Help yourselves." When they tried it, they praised it endlessly. "I've never eaten a cake with a flavor like this. It's so delicious." Then Dao turned to Vincent, smiling and asking, "Teacher Vincent, would you like to try some?" His face clearly showed his annoyance as he shouted, "Try what?" He immediately snatched the plate of cakes from Fong's hand. The cakes on it fell due to inertia, ruining all his hard work. Vincent's voice became harsh. "Who knows what you put in there? For everyone's safety, no one is to eat anymore." He exclaimed in shock, "What?" The little blonde girl beside them also shrank back in fear. Then Fong, furious, clenched the plate and snatched it back towards him. "What are you doing?" Then Jayat also rushed over angrily, his voice rising, "Teacher, why are you?" The plate and the cakes fell to the floor. A loud crash echoed as the porcelain shattered into pieces. Vincent's expression became flustered. "You people, Then Fong stood by, looking at the broken pieces, his whole body trembling with fear that they're all broken. Then Dao gasped in shock. Oh my God. Instantly, a dark, angry aura erupted around them Fong. Then Dao was secretly terrified. This is bad. Long and Fong doesn't look good at all. His face darkened as he moved heavily forward. Then Dao and then Jayat rushed to grab one of his arms each, holding him back. Then Jayat said with a tremor in his voice, "Second brother, don't bother with him." She, also scared, spoke to pacify him. "Second brother, don't be angry anymore. We can go home and you can make more for me to eat. This time I want a piece even bigger than that one." The people around, with faces full of admiration, also chimed in to praise him. "Can you bring us some cake after the party?" "You absolutely have to bring some." Being praised by everyone, he calmed down and replied shyly, "Seeing as you're all so eager, next time I'll let you try a new dish I've been researching. Super spicy black chili macarons." Then Dao forced a strained smile, sighing with relief internally. These kids are so cute. Everyone is so warm. She turned and pointed at Vincent, loudly criticizing him. "Teacher, please don't ruin things next time. What a cheapskate. You're just jealous that second brother and third brother are so well-liked." He, furious, pushed up his glasses and replied, "One who only knows how to run, one who only knows how to make weird things, and one who is a fool. All three of you from now on, you're not allowed in my class." Suddenly, a voice rang out, "Foolish." Then Leet strode forward, his noble aura making everything around him seem dim. Then Dao exclaimed happily, "Dad's here." He picked her up and said coldly, "A person like you is not worthy of teaching my child." Then Dao hugged him, calling out with a giggle, "Hee Daddy." Vincent was stunned by his appearance. He frowned and said, "Long and Leet, is that how you talk to your teacher?" Then Dao's face showed a flash of surprise. She turned to look at him, thinking to herself, so Vincent was also Dad's teacher. No wonder this old man is so arrogant. Then Leet turned his back to him and replied, "If you don't even have basic respect for children, don't expect me to give you any face. You're fired." His two sons stood with their arms crossed, their eyes full of glee. Hearing him say that, Vincent's whole body trembled, and he angrily rebuked, "Insolent! I am a tutor of the Long family, appointed by your own father. You have no authority to fire me." His eyes turned sharp as steel as he growled, "What if I insist on firing you?" Just then, a person approached, tapping a cane on the floor. His deep voice rose, "What is it?" Long and Hong Nak spoke with a stern expression, who gave Vincent permission to leave. Long Tun Hong Nak, Patiak op Telong family, Fata op Long Tun Liet. Their appearance left and Dao stunned. Wait a minute, could that young man be? Could he be eldest brother? Following behind him was a smiling, amiable blonde boy. Long Tun Za. A boy with light blonde hair and gentle eyes stood behind Long and Hong Nak. Could this be eldest brother? He spoke. "What is it? Is no one going to speak?" That hoarse voice startled then Dao. Her face filled with fear as she thought, "This grandfather is even scarier than my villainous father." Vincent anxiously stepped forward, placed a hand on his chest, bowed slightly, and hurriedly tattled, "Sir, it's the young master. He said he wants to fire me, sir. For the past 3 years, I have dedicated myself to the Longden family. When the young master was little, I invested a lot of effort in him. I never expected that when he grew up, he would treat me like this." Long and Hong Nak's brows knitted tightly as he growled. "Explain." Then Leet's eyes were serious as he replied firmly, "Father, I will not allow anyone to bully my children." After speaking, then Leet turned and glared at his two sons. Then Jayat and then Fong immediately understood. Then Dao leaned into his embrace and whispered softly, "Dad, I'm so scared. Teacher Vincent is so fierce, and he called me a fool." Then Jayat also played along, leaning against his leg, pretending to cry, his voice full of grievance. "Dad, Teacher Vincent called me a sports freak. He said I'm useless. Will I really become a person with no future like he said?" Then Fong tried to look aggrieved, looking at the broken plate of cakes on the floor, and said with a sad face, "Maybe Teacher Vincent was in a bad mood and accidentally knocked over my cakes. It's okay, Dad. I don't blame him." The people at the party also spoke up in unison that we saw with our own eyes that Teacher Vincent deliberately knocked over Long and Fong's cakes. They were very delicious cakes, and he called them spoiled. He's so mean. Seeing this, Vincent became flustered and shouted, "Be quiet. How dare you talk to your teacher like that?" Then Leet was filled with pride, silently praising them. "The kids are very sensible." Then Dao looked up at him, whining and tattling. "You're my grandpa, aren't you? Teacher Vincent used your name to oppress us. He acted high and mighty, ordering my dad around. Anyone who didn't know better would think Vincent was the head of the Longden family. Grandpa, Hearing her words, he was startled, his face filled with horror as he shouted, "This little girl, what kind of nonsense are you spouting?" Vincent hurriedly waved his hands in front of him, trying to explain himself. "Sir, I was just teaching the children on your behalf. I was only being strict because I want them to become talented individuals." Long and Hong Nak's face darkened as he glanced over, his tone becoming harsh. "On my behalf? You mean because you haven't seen me around for a long time? You wanted to trample the master under your feet. Is that it?" He frowned in alarm, stammering, "Sir, I did not." Seeing the situation, Linda immediately gave a signal. Right after, the bodyguards behind him stepped forward, shouting in unison, "Understood." They dragged Vincent away before astonished eyes. He stubbornly kept yelling, "Sir, I wouldn't dare anymore." Then Dao clutched Thin Leet's pant leg, her whole body trembling as she looked at him, her heart in a panic. Scared, so scared. After the matter was settled, Long Than Hong Nak glanced at her, letting out a disdainful sound, quick-witted and glib-tongued. Seeing his attitude, she became even more frightened. He walked closer to Thin Leet and whispered softly, "Long Than Leet, you'd better behave yourself." That sentence made him startle slightly. He placed a hand on his shoulder, lowering his voice. "You don't want this daughter to disappear like that woman did, do you?" Immediately, Thin Leet turned his head, asking in alarm, "What do you mean, father?" Long Than Hong Nak leaned on his cane, looked at Thanda, and reminded him, "Go home, follow your father, and learn how to manage the company." He nodded slightly and replied, "Yes, grandfather. Thank you for your dedicated guidance all this time." After speaking, he turned and left, ignoring the surrounding crowd. Then smiled at him and said, "Father, it's been a long time." Then Leet didn't even spare him a glance, just nodding once in agreement. From behind him, a head popped out and called, "Eldest brother." Then Jayat walked over, boasting excitedly, "Eldest brother is finally back home. Look, our family has a new little sister." Thenda nodded happily, gently stroking his head. Thenda knelt on one knee in front of her and said kindly, "Your little sister Dao Dao, right? So cute." Then Dao also replied, "Hello, eldest brother." After speaking, she thought to herself, "I remember the novel said that Long Thanda was always considered the heir of the next generation, so he was raised in grandfather's house. Eldest brother is so gentle, but why did he turn evil in the end? Why did I suddenly forget?" Looking at him, she pondered, "But I remember that eldest brother didn't return home until he was 18. Why is he back so early now? Did I remember wrong?" That night, she lay in bed, chuckling under the covers. Anyway, second brother was acknowledged by everyone today, and he's cheered up a lot. From now on, I won't have to be afraid of eating second brother's poisonous cakes anymore. He's truly a hidden genius. I can finally get a good night's sleep. A moment later, the sound of Dao's door opening was suddenly heard. Then quietly walked to her bed. He gently caressed her sleeping face. His eyes were filled with contemplation. "Little sister, why did you come back?" In the dark room, a man sat with his hands clasped. A photo of Enlite with a girl standing beside him fell. "Before your father was bewitched by that woman, he almost ran away with her." The man growled at him that he is the heir I painstakingly cultivated. How could he go against my plans? I never expected that now her daughter would come to disturb your father's heart. That woman and her daughter are no good. We can't let them continue to bother your father. You know what you have to do, right? Back in the present, Linda stared blankly at her. His hand trembled, slowly moving closer to Dao's neck. Suddenly, a voice called out from behind him, "Da-da-da." He turned his head to look. Then Leet stood at the door, frowning slightly, his voice cold. "What are you doing?" Then quickly raised a finger to his lips as a reminder. "Father, be quiet." He turned back, pulled the blanket up over Dao, and continued in an affectionate tone, "Little sister is sleeping soundly." He calmly closed her door and explained cheerfully, "I was tucking little sister in. It's cold, and she could easily catch a cold. Aren't you asleep yet, father?" Then Leet had noticed something unusual and dismissed the pretense, asking, "Tell me. The old man told you to come back. What does he really want you to do?" Long and Leet seemed to see right through his son. He crossed his arms and said sternly, "You know the consequences of lying to me." The son tried to maintain his composure and lied. "It's nothing, father. He just values little sister quite a bit, so he told me to come and teach her." An alarm bell went off in Long and Leet's mind. Has the old man prepared something detrimental for Dao Dao? Thinking this, he looked straight into his son's eyes and said coldly, "That won't be necessary. You know I don't trust anyone to begin with." The son, far from being scared, questioned him back. "You don't trust anyone, or you just don't trust me? This question made his father fall silent. Dao heard a noise in her sleep. She got out of bed and walked towards the door, rubbing her eyes with one hand. It sounds like there's a noise outside the door. As soon as she saw her father and eldest brother, she was wide awake, her big round eyes asking in surprise, Dad, eldest brother, why are you both at my door? Is there something you need me for? Long Then Leet, afraid that something would happen to his daughter, walked over, sat down gently, and made an excuse. The wind is strong tonight and Dad is scared to sleep. Can Dao stay with Dad? She looked bewildered and incredulous, pointing at herself and muttering, Who, me? She thought to herself, a grown-up like this is still afraid of the wind? Is he kidding me, or what? Her father's stare, which seemed to say he would make mincemeat of her if she refused, made Dao's limbs go weak. Although she was curious, she didn't dare to ask much. Her domineering father walked over, lifted her up effortlessly, and declared bluntly, Since you're not saying anything, I'll take that as a yes. Dao's heart was crying a river of tears. Boo-hoo, he decided on his own without my consent. Long Then Leet didn't say goodbye. He simply carried Dao away, leaving his eldest son behind. Long Then watched their retreating backs, his face falling, his thoughts unreadable. In her father's room, Dao, believing his words were true, sincerely advised, Dad, don't be scared. If you can't sleep, I'll sing you a lullaby. Patting the spot beside her, she cheerfully urged, Come here, Dad, come over here. A flicker of hesitation appeared in Long Then Leet's eyes. Faced with Dao's anticipation, he had no choice but to lie down, his whole body stiff. Seeing her father compromise like this, Dao chuckled with delight. She propped her chin on her hand, thinking deeply which song would be good. After thinking for a while, Dao jumped up. I've got it. She gently patted her father's arm and began to sing. Her voice was so clear and pure that Long Then Leet was mesmerized listening to it. After singing, she thought with satisfaction, This is the lullaby that the sisters at the orphanage always sang to me before I transmigrated. It's definitely very effective. Full of confidence, she became engrossed in her singing, humming along. Go to sleep, sleep soundly now. But Dao had no idea that her pronunciation was off, making the song a bit hard to listen to. Her father's face gradually turned green as he thought, is this off key? Meanwhile, her singing grew quieter and quieter as sleepiness overcame her, but her hand continued to pat her father's body. Long Then Leet felt a warm current of familial affection flow through his heart. In that moment, he felt that although the song was off key, it wasn't unpleasant to hear it all. Dao continuously rubbed her eyes. So sleepy. As soon as she finished speaking, she snuggled into his arm and fell asleep. A small snore, co, was heard, making her father look over with disbelieving eyes. She's already asleep? His gaze suddenly fixed on the little girl. A sense of nostalgia arose in his heart. This face really resembles her mother. In his mind, the image of the girl with the flowing golden hair suddenly appeared. Elite, look, doesn't this flower look like the sunset? At that time, he was deeply in love, placing a kiss on her hair. It does. The wave of nostalgia made him lost in thought. Just as he was about to touch Dao's hair, he suddenly froze. Dao's mother's previous words echoed again. Long Then Leet, please forget me. Remembering that heartbreaking image of Dao's mother in the rain, his heart was filled with questions. What on earth happened back then that made her choose to leave me? Under what circumstances did she give birth to my child? Countless questions appeared in his mind, but before he could get too emotional, he was snapped out of it by Dao's immortal flailing hand hitting his face. Dao, talking in her sleep, kept shouting, No, don't the snacks, don't spill them. He sighed internally and made an observation. However, this part is not like her mother. Her father sighed helplessly at the little girl's sleeping habits. He pulled the blanket up to cover his daughter. Remembering Dao's earlier act of lulling him to sleep, he looked at his own arm and hesitated. Then, as if possessed, he imitated Dao, his hand patting the little girl's body, his mouth beginning to sing, albeit not very fluently. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, sleep soundly now. Dao snuggled into her father and slept soundly. He held his daughter, his heart filled with happiness. This is the first time I've had this kind of magical feeling. It seems it's not so bad. In the following days, Long Then Dao felt that her eldest brother was acting strangely. Like right now, he always appeared just when she needed him, while she was struggling to reach a book on high shelf. Her eldest brother would suddenly appear and easily get the book down for her. He also easily performed an elegant action. Dao Dao, do you need this one? Suddenly, another book from above fell right on his head. Thump, but in his moment of inattention, his true face was revealed. She worriedly pointed at her eldest brother's head and reminded him, "Eldest brother, you're bleeding." I'm bleeding. From then on, Long Then Dao gradually got used to having her eldest brother always protecting her. As soon as she tripped, she would instinctively call his name in her head. "Ah, eldest brother, save me." Sure enough, the next second, her eldest brother would appear instantly and catch her. Dao Dao, at times questioning her own existence, couldn't help but sigh. Does someone this kind really exist in this world? Long Then gently stroked her head, softly reminding her, "You have to watch where you're going, Dao Dao." A smile filled Dao Dao's face as she thought, having such a gentle older brother, life seems truly happy. She smiled brightly and replied, "Isn't it because I have eldest brother that Dao Dao isn't afraid of falling?" Meanwhile, her brother, though in pain, said nothing and just looked at her meaningfully. He stood up and took the little girl's hand. "Let's go to the restaurant. Don't let Dad wait too long." "Yes." Her brother carefully pulled out a chair for her. "Come here, little sister." But before he could finish his sentence, Dao Dao was lifted up by her father and held in his arms. "I'm here, hee. Hello, Daddy." Long Then Leet placed her on the chair, and while helping her with her napkin, he asked expectantly, "Can you continue to sleep with me tonight?" Dao Dao reluctantly agreed. All right, it's been a week. A few more days should be fine." Thinking that, she agreed. "Okay." Long Then Jayat, holding a test paper with a perfect score, excitedly boasted, "Dad, I did it. I improved my math score by more than 20 points on this exam, and I also won a gold medal in shot put." Long Then Fong, not to be outdone, said nonchalantly, "Dad, I accidentally got first place in the class this term." Her third brother ran over, patting Dao Dao's shoulder to take credit. "If it weren't for little sister writing in my notebook, I wouldn't have paid attention to those knowledge points, and as a result, I got them all right on the test. It's truly overwhelming." Dao Dao giggled to brush it off, but whispered internally, "Those were all points I carefully selected." Even someone as hard to please as Long Then Fong acknowledged her and praised her. The flowers little sister drew are quite cute." Being praised so much, Dao Dao felt a bit shy and humbly replied, "Oh, not at all. It's a little embarrassing." The affection of Njayat and then Fong for her had reached the max level. Everyone adored her. "Even though you might not understand the questions, you did very well this time." As he spoke, then Fong vigorously rubbed his face against Dao Dao's, making her shout, "Third brother, your sweat is getting on my face." "Ah, second brother, stop messing on my hair." Then Fong chuckled dotingly. "This fierce look of yours is quite interesting." Then he sat observing and said quietly to himself, "Little sister has a very good relationship with everyone, doesn't she?" Suddenly, then Jayat raised his hand to ask for a reward. "Dad, since second brother and I have made progress, can you reward us with something? For example, how about a vacation at the mountain villa? Last year, there were a lot of fish in the lake, and they were delicious when grilled." Mentioning the past, then Fong laughed mockingly. "That's right, at that time someone dived into the lake to catch fish. If the butler hadn't pulled him out, he would have become fish food by now." Then Jayat, embarrassed into anger, his face flushed red. He retorted, "Did someone forget that they roasted marshmallows for all the servants in the house, causing them to vomit and have diarrhea?" The two brothers refused to yield to each other, constantly digging up dirt on the other. But falling into the lake is more embarrassing, hee. Then Jayat, flustered, shouted loudly, "That's not it." Dao Dao rested her chin on her hands, her eyes full of anticipation, and said, "Oh my, I've never been on vacation before. I want to go to the lake and look at the stars too." Her father looked at his children, his heart softening a little, and replied gently, "All right, a vacation is possible." The whole group jumped for joy, saying in unison, "Okay." Suddenly, Long Then Leet glanced at his eldest son, but Ada has to stay home. This statement shocked all three of them, their faces contorting in confusion. Why? Even then Da was stunned by his father's request. Dao Dao, with tears welling up in her eyes, grabbed her father's arm and whined, "Don't, Dad. Eldest brother hasn't gone out to play with us since he came back." Then Jayat, quick as a flash, grabbed the other arm, trying to persuade him, Yes. Eldest brother is the most mature and stable one. He can take care of all of us. It would be much more convenient if eldest brother and Dad came with us." Then Fong didn't sit idly by either, but his way of speaking was different from his two younger siblings. Eldest brother hasn't eaten my cooking in a long time. I want to let him taste my new level of skill. Then Leet, surrounded by his three children, looked a bit impatient. You kids. Dao Dao, though a bit scared, resolutely did not let go of her father's arm. Her whole body trembled as she tried to plead. Please, Daddy, can we? Please. Looking at his daughter's adorable, tear-streaked face, then Leet sighed in helplessness. Gently flicking Dao Dao's nose, he softened and agreed. All right, then let's all go together. The three of them excitedly rushed to hug their father tightly in joy. Wow, that's great, wonderful. Thank you, Daddy. Then smiled faintly. That's great. Thinking about the outing, the group hastily left the table before they even finished eating. Dao Dao went first. I need to prepare clothes to wear, and I'll prepare some special spices. Then I'll go with you. When only the father and son were left, then Leet reminded them don't let me find out you have any problems. Then to skillfully concealed his thoughts. Father, you're overthinking things. Her father said nothing, bending down to help Thenda apply a bandage to the wound on his forehead. This action of his made his son extremely surprised, somewhat disbelieving his own eyes. He reached up to touch the bandage on his forehead and softly called, Daddy. He turned slightly and said, Didn't that old man teach you how to treat a wound? Then felt a warmth in his heart, and he chuckled softly, saying, So Dad has always been quietly caring for us. Thank you, Dad. Watching his father's retreating back, then Dae's eyes suddenly drooped. It's really as grandfather said. Dad has changed a lot because of little sister. The next morning, Dao Dao woke up quite early. She stretched and thought, Today we're going on vacation. After being in this world for so long, I can finally change the map. Her heart filled with excitement, she jumped out of bed. Today I have to ask Sister Kelly to help me choose a beautiful dress. Dao Dao ran off quickly with her eyes squinted in a smile. Not paying attention, she bumped into the person in front of her. Ouch. Dao Dao looked up and was quite surprised to see her father here. Long and Leet looked at her dotingly and asked, Are you that happy? Then he bent down and picked her up in his arms. Dao Dao's face was full of smiles as she replied, Yes, 10 points. Oh no, it must be 100 points of happiness. No buts. Dao Dao nostalgically thought about the situation before she transmigrated into this world. Before, I always admired others for having family and being able to go on picnics together. She happily snuggled into her father's arms. Now I can also go on a picnic with my family. This thought made her pause. Family. She suddenly spaced out, thinking, why did I unconsciously consider them my family? Then Leet frowned and flicked her nose lightly. What's wrong with you? Why the sudden expression? Dao Dao quickly changed the subject. Oh no, it's nothing, Dad. I was just thinking about what hairstyle to ask Sister Kelly to do for me later. Speaking of hairstyling, then Leet said very seriously, Can I do your hair today? Dao Dao immediately broke out in a sweat, full of doubt. Can you do it? Remembering the not-so-fond memory of the hairstyle her dad once gave her, Dao couldn't help but shudder. I don't want a tree branch hairstyle. Faced with her existential doubt, her father placed her in front of the mirror and said confidently, Just leave it to me. This firm statement reminded her of Long than Jayat. Third brother was just as confident before. Now I finally know who third brother takes after. Long and Leet put on his glasses and seriously opened a book of hairstyles to look at. Wait, let me see. Dao Dao wanted to scream internally. Dad, oh Dad, cramming like this at the last minute will make you fail the exam. After looking, he very seriously began his career of braiding his daughter's hair. Dao Dao, her face covered in sweat, looked up doubtfully. Can Dad really do it like this? After a long while, she heard a sigh of relief. Okay, it's done. Dao Dao looked at herself in the mirror with wide eyes and astonishment. Wow, oh my God. This scream of hers sent her father into a panic, and he asked stammeringly, Is it not? Not pretty? Just as he was getting nervous, Dao Dao threw herself into his arms and praised him profusely. This hairstyle you did is so beautiful. I love it. In her heart, she was crying with emotion that I never thought the villainous father would study so seriously. I'm so touched, boo-hoo. Then Leet smiled with satisfaction, stroking her hair. It was very simple, a small matter. Just then Fong pushed the door open and called, Dao Dao, if you're up, let's get ready to leave. She happily waved and called, Good morning, third brother. Then Fong was startled to see his father there. Ah, Dad. Sensing that Fong was not happy, she broke out in a cold sweat. Wait, don't tell me third brother is going to turn evil again. Then Fong pouted, crossed his arms, and complained resentfully. So Dad came earlier than me. I wanted to braid little sister's hair. Her father smiled smugly. Humph, who told you to wake up so late? Then Jayat retorted unconvinced. Humph, don't be so smug, Dad. Next time I'll definitely wake up earlier than you. Dao was weary of this palace drama. Hey, do you two both cover my hair that much? Outside the door, Vinda and then Fong were also ready to let's go. I can't wait for everyone to taste my snacks. The car is here. Let's go. Dao cheered. Yes, let's go. Then suddenly curled his lips into a cold smile. The whole family is setting off. Huh? It seems he's about to urge me to make my move soon.